Wow. The temperature
English.
is rapidly changing there. Wow.
Beverly.
Beverly. Hello, Beverly. And then it just stopped. That's definitely someone's interacting with the REM pod right now. Do you have enough energy, enough power to touch this? Holy crap. Look at that. Well, hello, my friend. Yes, that is my name. Thank you.
Take picture.
Yes, I am. Would you like me to take your picture? If there's somebody here that would like a photo, you can come over here.
They say what I'm doing is dangerous. I was told when you interact with spirits, sometimes you can run into things that are worse. The spirits or entities can become attached to you. They see you as a source of energy, feelings, emotion. They can change you and turn you into something that you're not. I have a drive, a desire to find out more, to learn about paranormal activity, see if I can interact, and see what kind of relationship can form if you continually engage. My name is Mike Tornicasa. This is my channel, MT Paranormal Life. What you're going to see here is unlike anything you've seen anywhere. I'm going to continue to build ongoing relationships with the paranormal. Join me and let's see what awaits in this unknown paranormal world.
Okay, my
All right. Guess what, man? How's it going, man? Let's see what we can do here. So, how's everyone doing tonight? Here I am. I'm trying to still get myself situated. And Raven, are you still here? Cool. We had a wonderful conversation with Raven Hawk, and she's going to be on tomorrow night. And I think it's going to be very inspiring for a lot of folks. And we have a lot in common. And I'm glad I had that conversation with her. And I've been, as usual, overwhelmed. How's it going, Jared? Sasquatch Confessions. Weasel, what's going? Eris Lender, I don't know who you are. I am here. Hello, everyone. Hey, thank you for joining us. Native Winston Bear Claw, thank you for joining us. Sheldon, my man, right hand man, thank you for being here. Thank you. He's a blessing, man. He showed up in my life. He's from Ohio too. He's had his dogman encounters and all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, hey, listen, this is going to be an interesting show. First of all, to my brother Craig Corbell, who just had back surgery today, and he called and we weren't able to sync. If you hear this, my prayers and best wishes are with you, my friend, and many blessings to you. Once again, Raven will be with us tomorrow at 9 p.m. That should be a very informative conversation, that's for sure. If it's anything like what we had tonight, it will be very enlightening and edifying conversation. So that's my opinion, at least. And then we have Eva Lorgan. She's going to be on the 27th, which is 2 weeks from today, I believe it is. And that is, she's going to deal with was called anomalous trauma or paranormal trauma or PTSD, and how her counseling sessions for people who have had, negative encounters, which is part of the gig. So saying that, man, how you doing, man? I've been overwhelmed by the past 2 days trying to make that little video, Mike, and then trying to sync up everything, because the information that you've been revealing the past the videos, especially what's going on in the woods, goes hand in hand with the images that I've been filming.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're on the same page here. The page being that there's more going on in the woods then meets the eye, or what the the purveyors of information, the authority figures out there that say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is, this kind of collision course is happening between the paranormal, cryptid investigation, and the ufology. I think we're going to find a lot more commonality as time goes on. And what's interesting is that there's actually been people out there, some voices that have been kind of suppressed, but have been out there. Those who really dug deep into the areas of ufology or the spirit realm or cryptids. They've been telling us this for 50 years, 60 years, but you have to really do your homework to find it. And you're not going to hear it from, well, the big channels out there and everyone that's, out there trying to make a buck instead of working together to find out what the heck we're going through. Anyways, where do we go with this, man? I wish I would have had a little more
directions.
Well, one thing is we're going to have to do more than 2 shows with this because this is so intense. This is very intense stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I was thinking that maybe that video that you did, the daylight investigation with cameraman, that some of the messages that you received, man, are some powerful stuff. That if it is in line with what I'm thinking and what I'm filming, which I think we're kind of in agreement that it is, that we're dealing with something spiritual, supernatural, ultra dimensional. We're talking about ancestral spirits in the woods. We're talking about human spirits, not just Bigfoot. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it seems like from some of the messages especially, it seems to me that sometimes they're talking about even watching us or looking at us, and the messages come across. And when I heard a couple, it just seemed to me like they weren't saying something to me directly. It was more like they were saying it as if they were saying it to another being that's there with them. Like, look below. When I was there that one night, I don't think that was meant for me. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it almost felt like it was saying, look below, as if they're watching, and it was talking to another, like, look, they were right above me is what it sounded like, what I took from it.
Well, which makes a lot of sense, especially if the argument that I have, and I think even Raven would agree with me that they come in and, well, I know she does because we talked about it. They come out and they come in and out of the trees. Yeah. And so when they come down from the trees, I've been theorizing for a while now that while, hey, Diesel, how's it going? While we have been looking at the ground, as which we are instinctively, what we do, they've been above looking down at us.
Yeah.
Watching us the whole time, paying attention to what we're doing. And I mean, so what else did they say? Oh, didn't they also talk about the floorboard? You know what we got to do? Somehow we got to sync this up, folks. We got to kind of play that video. You know what I mean? And kind of walk through it a little bit. Do you want to try to do that?
Yeah, you can if you want. I don't have a timestamp though.
It doesn't matter. We can go through it, and when something pops up, we can stop and say, "What's going on here? What's the and then I have 4 dozen different tree spirits that I filmed just on the 5th that one day that I want to share because with more evidence. But what's going on here? This is you and a cameraman. And what's at night investigation?
Well, some of the images that when the cameraman and I first started getting together, sharing information, because we both are decently close in proximity to some of the areas in West Branch, and he started sharing some images with me. And being that I saw something physical that I've talked about many times before when I was there filming, and then once I seen some of the images I started wondering, I started realizing that I might be there and I might be looking or listening and looking um, for paranormal things. Here, there's more than just maybe energy or spirits of people who have passed on. There's beings there, and what they are started. Those questions started going through my head, and then once I seen the images he captured over there by me, and where he goes, I started realizing pretty quick, you know, there definitely are beings there. What they are just started, whenever I'm there now, I'm always aware, and it's like a new avenue of trying to document evidence beyond what I thought I was going to do originally.
Well, here's like someone like Raven would be a great addition to this conversation right now. And that is because she has done her own form of research and she's interacted with a lot of these. It sounds like she's interacted with a lot of these beings herself, somehow, some way. And so maybe we have an understanding. Either of these are us. I'm going to throw something out there. What's the possibility? I'm not saying it's so. I'm just throwing it out there because I don't know. Right? I don't, and I don't know anybody else yet who knows, but that's the quest is to find out. Let's like what you said in the beginning of the show, right? This is one of your models, right? The knowledge to do. I have a dream, I have a vision, right? And to understand what's going on and between the two realms and all the different dimensions. What if these are us? What if these are our ancestors? What if our spirits don't look anything like our meat suits?
That's true.
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying it's so. I don't know. I know there's people that they have near-death experiences. And they say they see beings. Many times they look humanoid in shape, etheric beings, maybe blue in nature or whatever. But I never hear anybody. And then once in a while they see human beings that look just like human beings. But I don't know. I at this point, I used to think 6 years ago I knew. The older I get, the more I realize I don't know jack squat. I know this sounds like it, but it's true. I mean, I don't know jack squat. I think I thought I knew. I read a few books and listened to other people who said they knew what they were doing. And
Yeah, and I think there's something to that too, because the more I've been discovering things there from what I've seen, from what I've heard, and I started opening up my mind to the possibilities, some things started like changing with me with you could say like my connection to where I'm at, the connection to everything. And something started to like, I don't know if you want to call it like an awakening or an understanding, but something kind of started happening.
jack squat. Yeah, that's right.
And I started like changing, and I'm starting to feel it more. And whenever I go, and whatever is there, maybe like you said, somehow, maybe it is some like ancestors, or maybe it's some other form that we don't understand beyond this life. But somehow I feel that we're connected to it, and I'm starting to feel that connection more, and it actually seems to help me, especially wherever I go.
I think so. I think the more you open, how do I say this? Because I don't want to sound too new age, but I think the more that you realize how little you know, and you're willing to accept what's in front of your face instead of what you've been indoctrinated into believing, the more you more is revealed to you. And as like Jared over there at Sasquatch Confessions, one of the things we kind of decided, when we're going through, at least for me, when we're going through this, and I just throw up my hands, I say, I don't know jack squatch. That's our new phrase. I just don't know jack squatch. You don't know jack squatch, because the truth is, I really don't. Even if all my encounters, all my sightings, all my research, I'm just like, because it's like, okay, do I know it's really Bigfoot doing all this? Do I personally know that? Or are some of these things working with Bigfoot? Or is Bigfoot, let's say Bigfoot is a larger spirit, a more powerful entity that manipulates and uses these other smaller beings to actually build the structures. There's always that possibility. Now, listen, the reason I say that is because there's no footprints. Or if there is, there's one or two. There should be tons of footprints, theoretically, right?
And if you don't mind, there's something I want to touch on while you're on that.
Yeah.
I get messages, and not just messages, actual like EVPs captured on my audio, and messages that say the same thing. And I wonder what they might be talking about. And like I did some shorts from the videos just to show those, but they talk about demons, and this is over in West Branch.
Right.
And here I see things. I saw that being, and I see these thermals of beings, and I wonder if maybe whoever's communicating this, whoever's voice I'm hearing saying there are demons and communicating through my devices saying that, if somehow that's how it's communicated through the device, that they're trying to say they're talking about them, that maybe they see them as like almost like a being that's maybe scary to them, maybe somehow overpowering to them, and that's what they're referring to. That thought crosses my mind, and that's what I've thought before, just something that I wonder about.
Or, are they trying to scare us?
True.
Or do they know, if they've, let's say they know our thoughts.
Keep you away.
So yeah, that's right. A possibility
That's a possibility.
And that's another. So you always got to allow that to be in there as well. I know with our religious training and everything, they tell us that everything's a demon, right? And I used to believe that, but until I started accepting the dualistic nature of our creation, then I realized there's an possibility that all can be demons. So then maybe there's a mixed bag. Maybe just like anywhere else in this world and anything else, there's good, bad, and the ugly, right?
Yep.
And even in the spirit realm. So I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of the stuff that I've heard growing up or in my adulthood, all these people that claim to be experts, when I challenge it, if it falls apart. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Say it again.
When all these things that people told me that were true, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as what the world is, what they were dealing with, all things are just demons or that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's all falling apart. They're not right. They've been making up stuff, telling me that they know what they're doing when they really don't know what they're doing or what they're talking about. If it still doesn't make sense, let me know. But what I'm trying to get at is the experts. Okay, let's go. I'll go to from the archbishops down to the pastors to the a lot of these guys who call themselves paranormal investigators, to cryptid investigators, to whatever. You have all these shows and they play this role and they're in the conventions. They're not telling us the whole truth, and they're pretending like they know something. And of course, their cop out in all this is no one's an expert, right? That's their way of getting out of the thing.
Or maybe they don't
have a responsibility for what they're saying, but no one's an expert. Well, yeah, okay, no one's an expert, but you know what? Maybe the problem is because no one's listening to each other. I noticed that, like with this community, is the paranormal research, and that everyone's compartmentalized so much that no one wants to talk to each other. And I think it's really important to talk to a guy like you. I think it's really important that what is going on with cameraman working with you. He's a Bigfoot researcher, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you're a paranormal guy,
right?
And putting the two together is going to reveal some very important truths. So, anyways, okay, we'll see what else is there. Boots on the ground is very important. What's the image here, man?
That was another one of the thermals. If you notice, one of the things that caught my attention when I was looking at these, look there, you could see the eye. It looks like the eyes and like possibly a nose or a mouth, right at the top there, right? Yeah, right up higher, right with the two dots.
There's an eye. There's an eye.
Right. Yeah. Or like the lighter green. The lighter green.
Oh, this is the eyes.
That's what I took from it. And if you look at that first like infrared image I sent you, the thermal image, or not the thermal, but the IR image, the gray one.
This one?
Yeah, if you look at that, look at what looks like the eyes and the mouth. Look at the shape.
There's the eye right there, and there's an eye.
Or up above it, right there. That looks to me.
Where they have the eyes have reflection. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like almost like a triangle kind of like pattern with the eyes wide and then like the mouth towards
yeah.
And then if you look at that infrared image or the thermal image, the one
That's a great point to point out, and maybe
it's similar. It's similar in the positioning of what looks like, yeah, right there.
So what you're saying is that we're looking at the wrong thing.
Well, that's just what I saw. That's what caught my attention was I noticed there's some pattern to that. Now, I might be wrong.
Assuming this is the eye. Assuming this is the eye is maybe part of the illusion they're making or something. But
or maybe
there's an eye there and there's an eye there though. I don't know. Because you can see an eye right there.
Yeah, there's you know what, you're right. That is
and you
I
know
see that also, right. That could be what I'm looking at. There might be, it might not be as like, I guess, simple to say like a head and a body. That might be something else, but
I think there's something completely else different, dude.
Right. And then
hold on a second. What if this is a larger entity holding on to that orb? Because it almost looks like there's fingers holding on to it, hands.
Right.
You see there?
Yep.
And I wonder if they hold on to this light source we call orbs to help them travel, manifest, and it's a plasmic form of energy. I know there's a ball around it, so
it
could be so. It's not saying that you're wrong. What I'm saying is that there are multiple things attached to this one thing, but you can see the hand right there, fingers. That, you know what I mean? There's something holding on to that.
There's a thermal too that I sent you. It's more heat than that one. It has
look at that one.
Yeah, look at that one. They're all pretty amazing, every one of them. When I seen them, I was blown away, especially knowing that those all came right by where I do my research at, right in the same vicinity. And that was right after I saw those, or just before I saw those is when I saw the being that I seen. And it was very reflective and shiny as well, but it was physical, But there was something to that reflectiveness. I don't know what it was, but something to it.
I'm starting to, because like I told you, remember the first time we talked, I found that entity that I think is an entity, at least, in the middle of the day holding on to an orb. And he had these like black hands holding on to it. Yeah. And I was like, almost like the orb itself is some kind of life force that they hold on to that helps them maybe travel or manifest. I don't know what they do with it. I'm just guessing, right? But there's some like they're attached to the orb, where where many of us thought the orb is just a single entity. That maybe there are multiple entities using the energy of this, what we call an orb, this ball of plasma or energy or life.
Thanks, Ramona.
To live off of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. William, that was Maryland Squatch Watcher, right? William? Yeah, he talked about the staff. You remember that?
Yeah.
In the shape of what he referred to as a staff or a language. I was really interested in that because I captured a clip watching the cameraman when he was live, and I saw something move, something walk, and I went back to where I first seen it come up, and that same shape I found, and it was white, and that's where the being came up from and walked away. And when he talked about the staff and he showed it, I think you were looking at there were the photos on the of the tree, and he pointed out what looks like the face of one watching, and it had what looked kind of like a slightly straight curved shape, and he said that was its staff or its language. That was the exact same shape of the white object where the being that walked across came from. And right when I saw that, I knew there was something to that, and I was really interested in talking to him. I spent some time talking to him about that. But that was something pretty, something interesting when you connect certain things and it kind of comes together. You really start digging in.
That's a very interesting image.
Mm-hmm.
I see a hand holding once again, but anyways, there's something going on here at least. See what we got going on here. This is interesting. What's going on here?
Yeah, that was another thermal. That was something that changed. It changed form, is what he told me. It changed from like an orb into this, and then into a different shape. They had They had thermals as it was changing. They kept going back to the thermal and snapping.
Is this a branch, right?
That was some energy that
okay.
changed form.
Oh. Very interesting.
That's the thing about West Branch. It's an interesting place, and these thermals don't make you wonder. You see those, and that there's things there. There's something there that's.
Is this the same one?
Anywhere else? I don't know. That one's a different one. That one wasn't. That was
that's the second one again.
Yeah,
it's definitely the second one.
Yeah.
So, so is this a different version of the second one?
That was the one that we were looking at before, with the face up top.
Yeah, but you can see the hands from
around it. Yeah,
on this one. Really good. You can see the hands holding it. There is some. Yeah. I got, the number of images I filmed during the day of these black arms and hands coming out of the trees. It's just shocking. And I think that there's multiple things living in them trees. And they didn't tell us about that. If they did tell us about that, probably no one would ever go in the woods and hunt, would they? That's probably why they never told anybody.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a weird feeling when, you see these things and you instinctively want to go see, you want to learn more about them and go see if you can capture more evidence of them. You start wondering, you're not the normal person.
I'm trying to figure out where we should start with my images before we get into this, so we compare some notes here. Where to go with all this? I think I'm going to zip. Well, anyways, I want to go back to, you guys saw this one. This is the little people, but maybe I'll deal with that with Raven tomorrow. This is an example of one of these black hands, shadow hands that I'm talking about. And you can see the fingers.
Yeah.
You can see the wrist and the hand, and you see it coming out, right? And that is not a shadow from any other tree or branch. It's distinctly different, and it's coming from something else completely. And as we go on, you'll see there'll be more persuasive stuff. Of course, is one of the guys they talk about are the dark gnomes of legend, the black gnomes, and the black hooded gnomes. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But I'll just show you just an image for Hill of the spirits that have like the Zorro mask and the nose and all that. But it's we'll talk more about that. And you guys saw that one before, the fat chubby kid. This is a guy, we saw that. We saw where should I go? We'll start here from the image here. So this is, if we look at this entity here that's in the shadows, and you can see it's kind of going along with what's going on in those other thermal images. It's hiding in the shadows. Now, your video, just says that one of the things it says, once again, what does it say? It's in
the shadow.
It's in the shadows. Look at the shadows. It's in the shadows. They said that. How many times did they say that or said that to you?
I got to think back if it's been messaged to me before. I like the dark. That was when I remembered specifically. I started really minimizing my light use because I got a message one time, or actually it's 2 times in one night, where it was saying that it needs the darkness. I need the darkness. At one time it said I need the darkness, and it said, let me see, it was I need darkness and I need darkness, or I need it dark and I need the darkness. Like the messages were almost the same. They're very similar. And I got them one time at night when I was doing some research and filming up there. And then I kind of wondered if maybe my lights had something to do with these messages, because maybe my lights were causing a problem. Maybe it bothered them. And I started minimizing my light use because of that. I need the darkness is what it said the one time. And the other one was I like it dark. That's what it was.
And they manifest in the shadows. It's over and over again constantly. Even Bigfoot during the day, most times, it manifests is the shadows, or even but he was like almost like a shadow being. But this is up to speculation and assumption. But this guy, what I find interesting, think about an orb, think about life forces, think about the trees, think about human beings, think about all the other things. If these things somehow feed off of our energy, the electromagnetic frequencies and that kind of stuff, this guy's a strange looking thing. There's not just one, but the one that I want to focus on is the guy with this one eye right here, and there's the teeth. You can see the mouth. You can even kind of see the hands. It's in the shadows. It's in the daytime. I didn't tweak or change the coloration or anything. If you guys can see it, you can. If you can't, you can't. But there's more than one thing going on here. There's another little, dude here, right?
That's a very strange like darkness. It almost looks like it's burnt.
But it isn't.
I mean? That's how dark. Yeah, it's not like a shadow. It looks like it was burnt. It looks very strange.
Or you notice that when they manifest at nighttime and you see them, their darkness, I mean, they're blacker than black. They're blacker than the darkness of the sky. And there's a sheen about them as well at times. And yeah, I mean, all I can say is what I can say. I mean, now, this is an interesting one, too, and this is during the daytime, and this is one in which manifests like the Egyptian dog. We talked a little bit about it on the show yesterday. I shared it, I think, towards the end or something like that. And you can see this, and it's multiple entities. And once again, look at the shadow. It does not. This does not reflect the branch here. There is not. That's why I think it's really important for us as investigators to start looking up a little more during the day. And you'll see this is this nose. You can see the ears. You can almost see the eyes. Then if you really zoom in, of course, we get all pixelated. But there seems to be some kind of energy or emitting off it, right? There's an entity right here, too. There's a little more. You can see the two eyes and those. And it seems to be on top of another entity as well, which is strange in its own right. But you look at that thing, and this it's got like weird teeth, like it's living or sucking off the branches. Do you guys see what I'm seeing? Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Don't tell me if you do. If you don't. I mean, I'll live. My life will not end. But tell me if you see something like I see something. Because I think there's a connection with those voices. Here's another one that we saw, and it's just stacking up of these entities in the shadows. And if you look really close, this is not pareidolia. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Anybody says otherwise, you're not looking very closely if you think this is pareidolia. And there's multiple entities once it's TPing up. You can see once again the old one-eyed thing going on. The dude's on top. It's like this guy, the monkey-looking ape guy, Bigfoot-looking one. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time with my image yet. Which ones I want to share with you guys. Is this a good one? How they manifest. Now notice this one right here. If you can see the darkness, like you said, it's almost like something burnt into the tree. Yeah. But if you look at the grayish black, it's there. It's not it's not behaving like all the rest of the shadows. There shouldn't be so dark there. Nothing burned to there. And it's, about 25, 30 feet up behind the tree. So we're going to get into your video pretty soon, but I just wanted to show a little bit. Now, if you have your images, I got my images, you got the audio, it's kind of like we're starting to build in my book, we're building a painting or a picture of what's really going on in the woods.
I wanted to show you if you want to do it now or whenever, but it's a short clip of that moment, and it was captured live, and I wanted to show it to you, where I talked about, like William talked about with the staff or the language, and then there was something that walked away.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah, I want to show you that and let everybody else see that, because this was one of the more amazing things I've seen captured before.
So what you need to do is go into the percent. You probably know already. So you need to get yourself in there. And what I will do is, yeah, because we got a lot to talk about. A lot. Present. Add the stream.
That was me. I think that was me.
Do we need to look at ourselves? No, we can just go full screen with that. Okay. Show us what's going on, brother.
All right.
I just find this fascinating that this is part of the equation. You guys going out in the woods and doing this.
They're saying down.
Okay. Are you watching? Are you able to see it now?
Yeah. Can you guys see it? Let us know. Hey, Damien and Sheldon, you guys see it? Dan, etc. You guys see it?
Yeah, it's a 5-second clip with Jack and Trapper. This is at West Branch. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll
Below the mound.
What I was talking about, there's a mound behind them. It's right here. This is the mound. He's seen eye shine back here.
Oh, I remember this one. We went over this before. Yes.
Did we?
Well, you and I did alone.
There. Okay.
Not with the rest of you.
Saying
You guys-
See now, this is what when I heard William talk about the staff.
Now, could you do us a favor and
Sure.
expand the video, the YouTube video part? There you go. So we can all
Okay.
see it.
There you go.
There.
Yeah, right here where I'm pointing at. This right here, when he pans over and pans back, it's moved over to this side by this tree, and then it looks like it fades out, and you could see a being walk this way, and it's very dark. Here, I'll play it.
down below the mound here. That's where I see the eye shine. It's down. Yeah, they're saying down below the.
Now it's over
mound
here.
That's where I see the eye
You
shine.
see something walk.
Down. Yeah, they're saying down below the mound here. That's where I see the eye shine. It's down. Yeah, they're saying down below the.
See, now look where that's moved to, like that looks like, I'll call it the staff.
Right.
And then
Mound here.
it does something weird. You could see it almost fades out. And
Right.
it's very light. And then right here, you could see what looks like part of a leg here, and watch as something will walk.
That's where I see the eye shine.
You'll walk across
Down.
so fast.
Yeah, they're saying down below the mound here. That's where I see the eye shine.
I see
Down.
stuff
Yeah,
going
they're
on,
saying
but I
down
can't.
below the mound here. That's where I see.
There,
The next time we do a show, remind me, and I will. The one that you sent me, I will slow it down for you. And
oh yeah, I
You
do
know what I
have
mean?
I have the speed up the full. I could see
oh
it.
yeah, there you go. Put it down to.
I'll go to 75. Try that.
That might be too fast. Even though when I did it, I had to take it
half.
down to like
Okay.
half or a quarter.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go to half.
Below the.
That sounds like they're
mound
drunk.
here.
Yeah.
That's where
There. Now, this is where it looks like that white line starts to come like away. You can see just the white tip of it's over here. And you could start to see the shape here forming.
Yeah.
And you guys, if you guys can see it, let us know as well. Give us a 1 for yes and a 2 for no if we can see what he's pointing out.
There is like its profile is over here now. You can kind of see, you can see like lower body, upper body, head.
So it's not really that big.
It doesn't look like it's that big, but then I don't know how far away it is to compare it, but it doesn't.
Well, when I
Look
say
like it could be that tall, right? It
I
doesn't
don't
look
think
like
it's
it's that
like
tall.
I don't think it's 8 or
Yeah,
9
right.
foot. Maybe it max maybe 4 inches, 4 feet,
Down,
5
Yeah,
feet.
yeah, they're
right.
saying
It's
down
definitely not that
below
big.
the mound here. That's where
There, it starts to get up and walk. There, you could see it. This looks like its arm into shoulder, and it looks like a leg. And now watch it.
yeah, I see.
It walks to the left.
Down, yeah, they're saying down below the
What's weird is it comes from here.
mound here.
This weird stick
That's where
looking like this.
yeah, I see. Down,
One more
yeah,
time, and I'll go
they're
ahead and stop.
saying down below the mound here.
Well, you
That's
guys
where
definitely
yeah,
filmed
I
something.
see.
What it is, I have no idea.
Right? Yeah,
I mean,
it's very strange.
I'm not gonna claim that that's a Bigfoot or anything else because I don't have enough information. But you filmed something, and that's what seems to be the majority of our experiences. We filmed something, and this best that Fortean, anomalous curiosity, or I don't know, it's something. It definitely is something. It's animated. It moved.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? I don't know.
Right.
And that's part of our problem. And here's what I guess what I'm getting at is when it comes to definitely because I come from the Sasquatch Bigfoot community, or at least research because of my own personal experiences and for other reasons, that side of the story is not being talked about enough. We're just saying, I mean, I think we're being guilty of blaming everything as Sasquatch. But I don't think that's necessarily Sasquatch. It could be a million other things.
And especially after those thermal images, that's right in that same area where those thermals come from. And like I don't know. I've never done any kind of research really, or went on hunts to find any beings like that. But seeing those thermal images, that's something that's totally unexplained. Like it's definitely not a person. And seeing stuff like that and what I've seen, there's something there, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah, we don't. After all this time, after decades and decades, after books and books, after centuries, we are still at this point where, I mean, you would think we should at least be at the point of just saying, well, that's like in the physical realm, right? We know that's a squirrel and that's a duck. That's a dog, and you have a cat in your room, and we know these things, and we can define them clearly. We all can be in agreement with it. But when it comes to the spiritual realm, yet we have these interactions and these experiences, yet we can't even agree on what we're dealing with. I just find that I think this is part of this deceptive matrix that we're all under. Does that make sense? I mean, at some point you have to go like, why is there so much confusion? I mean, it has to be deliberate.
It seems like it's very confusing in general because it's you might think something makes sense normally, and then you'll get something totally different, and then you'll be back to square one again. So it's like to me, I get an idea sometimes, but then, did we lose the stream? Okay, I thought we lost.
No, it's me showing this image now while you're talking.
I saw a little working symbol. I thought maybe it went there. Okay, anyways, yeah.
So here's an example of something that's anomalous. Being there, is it a spirit? Is it a human spirit? Is it a human spirit that's trapped? Is it even human? And what is it doing there? And I film this stuff all the time, and I'm going to show you guys. So this is in this arborvitae tree, right? It's an emerald one. It's one of the maybe it's the common one is what it is. But you wouldn't even think that there's something in here, right? Why would you even think there's something in the shadows until you realize there's something in the shadows, right?
Right.
But check this out. So you zoom in on the stuff, you start to see this going on. It doesn't add up. You'll see two eyes, but you see in the daytime they're dark most of the time, not like light. They got these weird like teeth and this grin on them. Now, as we look in closer, I mean, you get to the point you're like, I know I'm not seeing. It's not my imagination. We got a gray face going on with something that's like either a black hood or black hair. It's almost like there's something that's trapped. That's why I want to start talking to people like Raven and other people that are other like into light workers and those who deal with these spirits, because I got a feeling we're dealing with a lot of trapped spirits.
Or maybe it's peeking through, like, you talk about a portal or something. Maybe it's coming through in its own um, section or something.
Let's see. So let me ask the audience there. The guys are all you folks. Can you see something as well? I mean, can you see something, Mike, or am I just using my imagination at this point? I know I'm not using it, but can you see something?
What you pointed out, I see it. I see the eyes, and I see the mouth. And again, when those sections like that, there's something off about that darkness, that shadow.
Right. It doesn't fit in with the rest of the tree.
Yeah, right.
It does not part. And once again, it almost seems like around the face, or here's another thing: the idea of hands again. Hands, are they hands in some way manipulating the branches, or whatever, absorbing, drawing the life force? Because you could also argue, as I say many times, that there actually are hands covering the face, or somehow projecting it. I don't know, but I don't think there's a spirit going on, and there's spirits talking to you. And I think that I'll share a few more images, and then I want us, if it's okay with you, to share another one of your videos, and let's go through it about some of the things that the spirits are being talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
So let me share. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to do, once again, as usual, do 3 things at once, and I am not a multitasker, and
I was telling them how fun it is when you're doing a live stream at night somewhere and watching your screen, watching chat. So it's a challenge.
Now, what's interesting here in this same image is not just a spirit in this tree. There's another one right here. What are they doing there? They're like the watchers or something. They're like, you can see it right there. There's something going on. It doesn't. Maybe I'm being fooled with that one. Maybe I am being fooled. Maybe that is not even what I think it is. There's something going on right here. We know. I would. You see this. So
if you hear me when I communicate, I always refer to the protectors, and I think that's probably the same, maybe the same kind of being that I refer to, the ones that I've seen, and I can just feel that what's there. It's like they're laying their home, and they basically look after and protect it. So I always, if you ever hear me talk to the protectors, that's who I'm referring to.
Yeah. All right, here's another example of one of these entities that's sticking out, and it's in the evergreen. It's in a pine tree. And was this human spirit? Is this one of these little people that they talk about? I don't know what it is. And then, just think about this too. You the light that you guys are sharing with what's being revealed at night. With I mean, there seems to be like a theory, and it's not alone, by the way. It has like, I think it was Raven was talking about little people always have like a larger spirit that's associated with them. I can't wait to talk to her about that. But there's something going on. It's not pareidolia. I wish it was. You know what I mean? Because if I didn't have to share any of this stuff or see the stuff, I would be more than happy. But there's something going on here. Do you guys see what I'm seeing? I'm going to share a couple more images, and we're going to watch with another video.
I see a lot going on there. Yeah. Looks like a lot.
Yeah.
That odd, like almost like flesh-like color, right towards the middle.
Right here.
Yeah. What is that?
You can see the eyes.
Yeah.
You can see the eyebrow, the eye ridge. You see the hairline. You can see the ear. You can see this nose. And it's, I don't know. It kind of reminds me, or that's a hand hiding the nose. Maybe that's a hand hiding part of the nose. Maybe that's a hand right there that's actually hiding part of the nose. There's something going on there. Maybe the hand's like this, and this is the other hand, now that I think about it. They use their hands to hide their faces. And then above it, there is something going on here. There's something going on here. One more image. And this is another example of a shadow entity that being filmed in the middle of the day. The shadow that doesn't make any sense. Let's look at this. This is a tree trunk, and you can see the shadow wrapping around. It's not.
It looks like it's on like onto the window.
Well, this is the face. You can see this is the face right here, for at least so I can see. But I think there's multiple faces as usual because I think that they mass up. Like, but you can almost like, is it? Are these hands? Are these hands again that is wrapping around this, like a Bigfoot type hands, big furry hands? I mean, I don't know. Can you guys see what I see? See, that's that's maddening too about this whole thing. I see things, and then I have somebody else and show the same thing, and they see something completely different. And I think it's part of their deception. It has to be. But you guys, can you see the shadow being? Can you see anything? Can you see like what seems like something wrapping at least around that? I think it's a telephone pole.
I think I see the hands, and does it look like it's from the way you're looking at it, way we'd be looking at it, like it's peeking around to the left side.
Like this is the face right here?
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
This is the nose?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, and that's another one I filmed that day. By the way, when I said I filmed that day, I spent a total of, I think I was outside because I ended up talking to the neighbor's dad that just moved in. So, but I just talked to him for the most of that 20 minutes out in the woods, or out in my neighbor's yards, my neighborhood, I should say. So no more than half an hour. I mean, so this year so far, I spent no more than an hour to hour and 10 minutes, quote unquote, investigating. Because I don't have to go very far to start filming stuff. Now, some people say that this is their attachments or these are hitchhikers, and I don't believe that. I think these things have always been here. I think they've always been present, and they've always been with me. And even though I've been other places and seen things, it doesn't matter because they're everywhere, and I'm totally convinced of this.
Like they're in that phase you talked about, like the phase where they're like the phase where, whether you want to call it like a different realm or an afterlife, you know, where our life here is, you know, its own length, but then they're in a phase where they could have been in this realm for who knows how long. You know, they could have been there.
Well, here's the question that then inevitably comes up: do we end up going back into the trees?
Right. That's,
you know what I mean. And I'm not, you know, let's just forget about you committed a sin and you're going to hell. No, let's just forget about that. What if this creation really is this kind of loop-like thing? This where we go from the middle world to the underworld, back to the middle world, up to the upper world, this and that, until we eventually, for whatever reason, everything lines up properly, and you pop out of this like a I don't know, like a zit being popped. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, look at this. Think like a blood cell that's excreting poisons or something like that, and that's probably a bad way of saying it as well. Because are we really poisoned? I honestly think, and there's a lot of other people think, that we're trapped in this place. That we're in some form of trap, that we got captured and thrown into this place, and most of us don't belong, and we know we don't belong, and that's we look at these things and we go, what the heck is going on, right?
It feels like to me that, I don't know, just a feeling that even when, you know, our life ends, we're still we still stay part of the earth or the land somehow. And
or at least a part of us does.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right.
Here's the question: is it our soul? Is it our spirit? Or is it part of us?
Right.
Hopefully, tomorrow when Raven shows up, she's going to talk about how we are fragmented.
Right, and
fragmentation.
There's something to that, and that's why you hear voices. You know, because I, like out in the woods, like you said, out when I go out to West Branch, that's what started it all for me. Was I would have my audio recorder going, and I would hear voices, almost like parts of conversations, like they might be talking about me or something. But I just would hear them, and I'm like, where are all these different voices just coming from? Could it be people who just died around here, or could it be, it's a lot of questions, but it's there and I hear it, and that's
Right.
part of why I keep listening.
Yeah, I think that's. I think when we, there are people. I think there's truth to the people have kind of abused this and try to take advantage of this to, and you also recorded stuff. Yeah, I made mistakes, witchcraft, blah blah blah. Is this them trying to cause fear in our lives, or did it really happen? Maybe there is people who really do evil things to people, or do whether in witchcraft form. And by the way, sorcery magic comes in many different forms. It's we are conditioned to think that if somebody has to wear a pointed hat and to pretend to look like your Hollywood witch to be involved in witchcraft and sorcery, when quite frankly the best ones that do it are the black magicians out of the Vatican and in the Washington D.C. and you probably a lot of other places that manipulate us, like television. What do you think television is? If that's not magic, I have no idea what is, or witchcraft for that matter, right? I mean, and so I'm going to show one more image, and then if you got a video ready to do, I was thinking about going over the last one we did. You skip the beginning because we already played that twice, but maybe go into when you start interacting with your spirits. But I want to show you this one here. First of all, this is filmed. I think I can't remember. It was in the afternoon. 1, 2, 3 in the afternoon, right? And you can see that where the sun is shining on this, and you can see clearly a couple images of faces manifesting a shadow face that's in a place there shouldn't be a shadow. And the one I want you to pay attention in particular.
Yeah, that one really stands out. You can see a face pretty clear there. Right there.
If you pay attention to it, you can see the eyes, you see the nose, you can even see the teeth, you see the top of the head. Some would say that that's a horn. There's the horn ones that I talk about that I film all the time. Or is it even a horn? Or is it something else attached to it? Yeah, God knows what it is, but there's something there. At least I'm insisting that. I want to ask you guys, before we go to the video, because it's not about me sharing all my images. The whole idea here, Mike, as we talked about earlier, if we can combine our research together, I think we're going to create a better case for what's really going on, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? You're getting the audios, I'm getting the images, you guys are getting the stuff at night, and then of course then there's the EMF and everything else. But if you look at this, guys, one or two, if you guys see something too, if you don't, can you see the head? Can you see? And by the way, this is in the middle of the day, popping out of a tree. If these things talking to us, are these the things I've seen images and video of where spirits that look kind of Bigfootish like that pop down or flow out of the trees or flow up into the trees. I've seen them go in and out of trees. So what if they always lived in the trees? And what if they're like paying attention to us? And when they know your thoughts, they know your actions, they know what you're going to do, and they're setting yourself up like the trickster spirits that they talk about to have you hear footsteps. This is important. Let me hear this out. If I'm right, and if we can get this sorted out a little bit, when say you're out there in the field in the woods and you hear footsteps, you can now laugh at the trickster spirit and say, "Oh no, I'm not buying into it," and not be afraid. Because there's nothing worse than being totally terrified and isolated in the woods or something like that, which I've had I've had that dread experience. There is nothing like that. It ruins not only your day, it ruins your life. So if you knew what you're dealing with and you realize that they only had a limited amount of power, you could laugh back at the trickster spirit. Does it make sense, Mike?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, you know what I mean?
It might be like a defense, like like territorial. They're trying to keep you away.
But from what and why? What are they trying to hide us to keep us from? Is it
Well,
simply because they're afraid we're gonna? If they already know what we're doing, what our intent is, are they gonna? Excuse me, I just meant to do that. It's what? Uh, we're going to cut down your tree. Well, they know they're not going to cut down the tree. Are we going to touch their tree? No, we're not. So why? What are they? You know what I'm saying? These are
yeah,
questions to ask. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're wrong because I
right.
don't know. I don't know what they're up to, except that Native Americans, they have lots of folklore and legends of trickster spirits and all sorts of different spirits. So, anyways, so now that I got that, I will get us back. There we are. So, do you want to share another one of your videos? Because we tie it in. Because what I'd like to do at some point, Mike, is to do a collaboration work with you and me and a couple other people, where we have some videos, visual and audio from each of us, all of us, tying it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And saying, well, this is what's happening in Northwest Ohio. This is what's happening in Central Eastern Ohio. This is what's happening in maybe Idaho or in British Columbia or in Pennsylvania or in Mexico, and put the pieces together and say, okay, because I see a common thread going through all of this place. It's a common thread, you know what I mean? As far as experiences, encounters, images, entities. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does.
Okay, so where should we go with this?
Well, we're talking about maybe beings above you. We're talking about beings above you, watching you, and I've heard you talk about like gnome creatures or small creatures, and I've heard others talk about them.
Right.
And I had an experience when I was live. It was over in West Branch, and I had my SLS device with me, and there was a figure, small, low to the ground, and I noticed it several times. And as I kept moving, I was with the cameraman. He was live, and we were kind of veering off, checking out things on our own, and I kept noticing the same shape come back. And then I started asking it. I'm like, are you there? And it kept coming back on demand whenever I'd ask it to show itself.
Yeah.
And once it was up above too, it looked like it was even on a branch. And the cameraman was watching it with his, and he saw the same thing. And then I looked and I saw it. But it was interesting because it's like it wanted to be noticed, and it kept coming back whenever I would ask it to. And it got to the point where I wanted to name it, and somebody from the chat named it. And then I was kind of like, I kept moving and then stopping and waiting. And then I'd be like, are you still there? And then boom, popped up on the SLS. It was very interesting, but it was a very small being. It looked like from the shape on the SLS, it was very low to the ground and very small. And I was going to say, if you want, I could show you that parts of that.
Sure. Hey, listen, this is all about you, brothers, and support you at the same time, work together on this because, yeah, and there's going to be at some point we're also going to have to talk about your symbol and all that kind of, then address that kind of stuff because let's be honest, there's people that think it's like bad and all that kind of stuff, and we got it. At one time, I did too, until I found out they're literally on churches all over the place in Europe. So.
Yeah,
it's very spiritual. That your symbol. So, but it doesn't matter today. You know what I mean? But we're going to talk about it at some point because people are going to complain about it. They know they're going to do it. And I know you didn't make that symbol and put it there just for the shits and giggles. And you did it to be a little bit,
Well, honestly, like if you saw when you did the intro and you showed that clip. And I talked, that was like one of my original intros. And at the end that showed empty paranormal life with what looked like a figure, which I kind of used representing me. And I had the different spirits around and the red eyes coming from like the mountainside. That was where I originally started. A friend of mine designed the logo for me Declan. He was with me in a few videos, and as soon as I seen it, and I saw the star symbol and the representation about death and the protection, and I like fell in love with that logo. I was like, I love it. It's great, and it was I gave him all the credit for that, and that's where that came from. But that's a great logo, and I think running into Declan wasn't just by accident. There was something to that. But he's the one that designed that logo, and it's great.
I don't if I was 6 years ago as someone that was heavily indoctrinated in Christendom, I would have been, oh my gosh, there's witches and Satan worshippers. But today I'm like, when I found 1500-year-old churches in Europe with the same symbol as their windows, their stained glass windows full of it, I'm like, well, they lied to me again about stuff. I think the problem is, what it comes down to is how you use anything, right? And what it means to you. One person might mean the worst thing in the world. Another person might mean it's all about, a deeper meaning of the spiritual realm, right? And so it's all up to you. So we had to be addressed because I know I have mixed bag of people here. I have Christians here. I have non-Christians here. I have people that are come and go that are, that do practice witchcraft and do all sorts of things. And I guess what I'm trying to say, and I'm trying to make a space is a comfortable space for everyone. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because honestly, I think we're all shooting at the hip. We're all just guess, and we think we're real smart, right? And you think, oh, our ancestors and tradition told us this, until you find out that, they were wrong most of the time too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And throughout cultures, right? And so, yeah, we're in this profound. We're in like a moment of awakening at the same time, recognizing how degree of profound ignorance we're all under. So, anyways, when you want to do the video now?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and
let's get this set up.
What am I
I don't have
doing
the
wrong?
premium.
I'm
so
putting
I'm
my blood, sweat, and
Let's do one thing. Let's magnify that video so you don't need.
Well, hello.
Oh, let me.
How long is this going to be?
Back. I have to jump around because it's
You're
not
doing a happy dance.
But you
So
see,
what I want you to do with this, so I'm going to give you, because I know people really want to hear you too, and I keep interrupting you with this conversation. So I'm going to step back and listen, and I'm going to listen to it, and you tell us what's going on. Okay.
I'm going to see if it keeps moving with me.
I'm mutant. You're on your own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that was something. Well, hello there.
can you hear it? All right.
You look like the same
I
person
can
that
hear
was
it.
following
Can
me
you guys
around.
hear it?
Yeah, that was. I'm going to try to go back to when
I
we
just heard something moving over this way.
first picked it up.
Looked like a lightning bug. The
That was a little
cameraman's
work
way up
I
ahead
saw.
there.
Here we go. This was
SLS picks up, but over
see
here,
on the ground right
this
here.
is the same spot. It seems like
Right here. That
someone here.
figure right there.
Can you see me there, my friend? Whoever's there.
This is when it first started. When I first
Now,
noticed.
so here
I'd
what
say,
I'm going
my
to say,
friend.
Mike. Can you pause that for a second? I'm not answering you. You're talking to us, the crowd, now. Okay. So
Okay.
if I don't respond to you, because the problem is, if I know they want to hear you, just talk to us, okay?
Sure,
And
yeah.
I'm just going to be nodding my head, or yes or no. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that was that's when I first picked up the little figure. Was right here,
See,
right there.
I know there's a lot of sticks and things around here, so see how well this
Right here again.
SLS picks up. But over here, this is the same spot. It seems like someone here. Can you see
Okay.
me there, my
Yeah,
friend?
I'm
Whoever's there.
Okay, I'm going to have to interrupt. Play
Yeah.
that a couple times, and if you can, is there any way to slow it down a little bit too? Because I saw something there.
Yeah, I could slow it down. Let me I'll go 75. I guess if it's a little bit too fast. Let me go back a little bit.
Like a trail. They do some camping, but let's see.
That's when right here. This
I know there's a lot of
Wow.
sticks and things around here, so see how well this
Right here.
SLS picks up, but over here, this is the same spot. It seems like someone here.
Now I'm walking.
Can you
too.
see me there, my friend? Whoever's there. Don't say, my friend.
That was when I first noticed him. And like 10, 20 minutes later, I find him again. I can skip ahead if you want to till I get to that. Like I said, I don't have this timestamp, so I'm going to have to kind of jump around a little bit till I start seeing him again.
Hey, here's another
Very
strategy.
similar in a way.
Let's pause that for a second, okay? Since hey Damien, if you could as well, Damien's like he's really good at doing this, and if any of the guys are really good at this, pause at that picture again. You guys take a still of it and send it to me on Messenger, and I'll put it up, okay? And so if you go back to that image that you paused at, that you said that of the entity,
And
and
it's,
then look.
I've caught it almost.
You want a still frame of it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like you're there and let people take a
Sure.
capture.
I'll go back. Well, as you'll see him.
I won't be able to do it because
pause
I won't get a good enough shot of it because I'm just too mean.
Several places on the way over here.
Move ahead.
Yeah, it looks like a fire.
It was up on the hillside. We saw some.
Yeah, like a glow. It has like an orangish
There's
glow.
more of it.
An orangish glow. Yeah, it looks like a fire. Yeah, like a glow. It has like an orangish glow.
Try to get a still frame of it complete. That was a pretty good one. That's what I mean by a small figure. That little figure there comes back.
Is it gone? Well, something for a second right here.
Oh, yep. It's hard to get a still frame of that one, but that was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. See, you're catching. Look.
Oh, man.
Yeah, right there. Look.
It
Yep.
too.
Yep.
I'll go first here.
Looks like we got some visitors, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. There's three things
Oh, I missed that one.
moving.
Whoa. Huh.
It looked like three orbs, but on the SLS it looked like bodies. That was so weird.
Arliss,
Arliss is in chat.
it might be more when it shows the little eyes and nose.
I'm actually going to I'm going to go to normal speed with it.
We're going to see if it keeps moving with me. Yeah. Now that was something. Well, hello there. You look like the same person that was following me around. I got a recorder on my arm. If you wanted to say your name or talk, I can hear you.
While we're watching,
Somebody who wants to hang out with us here.
I'm going to step back for a little bit while we're watching.
Okay, let's keep going.
I try to.
Did you guys see that? That's pretty interesting. I don't know how else to put it. How about here? Can I see you here?
This is where it
What?
started. I started asking, and they started.
Jack's gonna have he's gonna get a kick out of that.
I start moving around and asking it to come back again here, and it did it several times throughout the
Wow.
night.
You guys all see that?
I think this is where I moved position to see.
Here, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's try a little something here. Let's go over here. Okay, I moved over here. You want to come back so we can see you here? This is crazy. Thank you. I appreciate you showing yourself here. CP, that's crazy, man. Okay, how about here? Can we see you here? You still with me? You come over here in front of the camera so I can see you again?
There he is. There he is again.
Holy crap. Wow. Thank you again. All right.
But that was, this was pretty long. This was like an hour and 40 minutes long, this whole live stream. But that went on for a while, to the point where older woman in chat, I asked for somebody to name that little guy or little person with us, and she named it Cutie Pie. And there's a point later on where I was kind of like, Cutie Pie, and then I asked it. I said, do you like that name? How about Cutie Pie? And it comes back, and it looks like it's dancing, and it comes back, and it looked like it liked the name, so it kept it. And I started calling it Cutie Pie for the rest of the night. It was pretty funny interaction. But that same little figure was up in the tree at one point too, and it went over by Jack. I asked it to go stand by Jack, and it stands by him, by his leg, and it's real small. It was pretty interesting. This was brought the cameraman all the toys, possible haunted location. We were out in West Branch for that. Let me go ahead and come back here. Here we go. But that was, when you talk about some of the small spirits that you mentioned before, ones you can see, that always reminds me of that time there, because whatever that was very small, and it was low to the ground. And I always wonder if somehow it's something like that. Energy, Ramona. There's a lot of good stuff captured live. I like doing live streams. They're tough. I mean, I got pretty used to it. I'm not too bad with keeping up with the chat, but looking from screen to darkness, you lose your night vision a lot. A lot of times you miss stuff. So it's good to have, others watching so they can, capture things for you that you may have missed.
It's an impossibility is what it is just about.
It's difficult, but it's kind of fun when you get the hang of it. I like the interaction with it. I enjoy it now. It just takes time to get used to.
Let's see. So this is some more of what we might be dealing with in the woods. And this is a dude that's looking back at me and up in the tree. You see him? Man in black.
Yeah.
And you can see his head quite well. This was his head right there.
That's what I saw right there. Yeah.
You can see his hands. And he's just popping through, and he's just peeping and just looking, and he's and you guys tell me, you see what I see? Yes, 1, 2, no, whatever. Tell me what you see. Let's see what it is.
Now, do you see the face? Is it the smaller looking like face, like towards the top of that middle part? Because I see something that looks like it might be up higher.
Where?
Up towards like the top. Yeah. To the left a little more.
Well, there's a guy that's definitely on top of him.
Yeah, I see that. I saw that. Yeah, right there. I see that.
There's a little guy right here for sure. He pops out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
You can see
Yeah,
his
I
two
see it.
eyes. And then if you look at this guy, he's got another one of these little guys right here. You can even see the hands. You see the fingers?
Mm-hmm.
And then we got this strange dude. Look at once again the big old black eyes, like there's something wearing sunglasses, stacking up on top of his head. I mean, we can't say they're all Bigfoot. That's right. Is my point coming across to anybody? You
Mm-hmm.
guys agree with me that we're dealing with more than just Bigfoot in the woods? Uh, one for yes, two for no. If you agree with it, and I'm just, do you understand? Do you understand where I'm coming from, Mike? Do you,
Oh yeah,
I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything. I'm
I've
just
heard and
trying.
seen a lot of things, and I'm pretty sure it's not just not Bigfoot for the most part for what I've seen and what I've heard.
And these things are watching us during the day and at night, and they are interacting with us. And I am totally convinced that that's what's happening here. Is that we're I forgot to turn on my camera. Not that anybody wants to see my ugly mug. That we're dealing with multiple dimensional beings. We're doing for all sorts of types of things going on. And I think we need to start documenting these things. We need to start to, trying to seriously document things. Now, listen, if I can do this, any of us can do this. But the big difference between me and anyone else is the quality of the camera. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. That, getting something like a P900. And there's one other thing, too. I'm totally convinced that when you praise the Creator God openly, and I'm not talking about anything religion. Just forget about it. If you think, but there is a source, a being, a spirit that every culture and for thousands upon thousands of years have told us about, recognized in one way or another. When you recognize it, you're vocal about it. Things show up, and you're able to film things. And you're going to film things, and you have to also open up your eyes a little bit and be willing to look at the high strangeness that is all around us and the connection that it has with the trees. And if you're willing to do it and you're willing to see, I don't, listen, I'm not demon possessed. They're not attacking me. They're not causing me problems. I mean, I got my own problems. I probably look at me, say they're not even. I'm a lost cause. You know what I mean? As far as wasting their energy and time on me. So if I can do this, anybody can do this. Now you add on the equipment that you guys are using, guys like you and the topics Squatch PA. He's doing a good job with the gadgets, and I don't know if you know any other guys. Of course, cameraman. And there's a lot of us out there, but we need to kind of unite. I think and we don't even have to necessarily agree on what is what yet, but just documenting it, sharing it, not being like possessive about it, not to like, or I don't know how to say this without being a jerk. Do you know how to say this, Mike? Because every time I say something, someone gets pissed off, and I just like,
Well, I always, everything that I do, it's all documented on my channel. Everything that I've shown tonight, everything, it's all there and documented, and that's what my journey for me means is documenting what I encounter, what I can, and showing it. I'm not keeping it to myself. I'm trying to share it with everybody so they can see some of the things that everybody can just encounter. You might not be looking for it, but you could still encounter it.
I got one more thing too. That's funny, Damon. And as far as native medicine, bear claw one, I'm cool if you're not coming on the show. It's not a big deal. It really isn't. I totally respect if someone doesn't want to join and be part of it. So it's not a big deal to me. I'm not going to judge you. one way or the other. So I'm just happy you're following. You're here and you're following Mike, and here and seeing what we have to share.
Yeah.
So let's see what else. She says we have many creatures in the woods. Just we do. Yes. I mean we're revealing it. You know what I mean? It's just like no doubts about it. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's there's a certain combination of things to do. At least work for me. I'm nothing special. I am really nothing special, and I know I'm real. And my reason I bring that up is because if I can do it, anybody can do it. I think part of the problem too is just coming to terms with the fact that there is a multidimensional beings around us, spirits, some sorts or another, and not to run away from all this, but to, and I also don't think it's a good idea to like make all these things like our pets or our, you know what I mean, or worship them or anything like that. There's an interesting thing about you, Mike. You call them my friends. Why do you do that?
That's more of my intent. You know how you just have a natural aura or intent. And to me, that just, you know, it like I just feel like we're all connected. Every being that's physical here in the woods, everywhere, animals, you know, and what's there, the energy, everything that's there, we're all connected. And so in a way, it's like we're all family, we're all friends. You know, and that's just my natural intent, I guess. It's just like I oversay it, and I don't mean to oversay it all the time, but it just seems to naturally come out all the time.
It's funny. UPS, United Pareidolia Squad.
But I think it's about grounded. You know, most people, one thing I've started to expand, or the way that I've changed, is that I'm not always just grounded all the time. You know, I've embraced this connection, and I'm open to it. So I'm grounded because, you know, I'm just a normal person. I live my life. You know, I've got family, I've got children, and I work, you know.
I think is there a possible line that we need to avoid to cross, do you think?
I think either extreme. If you're just too grounded, then you're not connected. And I think being connected some way helps you be better spiritually. But if you're too spiritual, you might miss the things that are important, like your friends, people you meet, just getting by day to day in life, you know. So I think, you know, you should try to balance both.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things, isn't it? I think it's like, I know, like, it might seem like I do a lot of time on, but I know when my son shows up, I stop it.
Good night, Ramona.
Yeah, same to you. Much blessings. Good night. There's time and a place for all this stuff, but at the same token, I do think that it's an important enough issue that to dedicate one's time on. I mean, when you see this, I mean, when you start filming this stuff, you're not seeing it. You can't. I mean, you can try to avoid it, and you can try to pretend it's not real. But I think it almost, when you try to deny this stuff is real, these experiences, I think it almost can give the darker side of this stuff power, is to cause more fear, more dread, and that kind of thing. Same token, you know. Okay, so you've been recording stuff about witches. They're saying witchcraft, or I made a mistake, or under the not the porch. What is it? Under
the floorboards.
Under the floorboards.
Yeah, that was odd. 3 times that message came up.
And bringing up different names, and I'm wondering, you know, there's certain things that are eternal truths, no matter what you believe and what you think. And I wonder if some of these spirits get. I wonder if we're involved in any kind of, let's say, the passing away. You gotta be careful what you say, or I'll get banned. Of another individual, right? And you can read between the lines. You are contributing cause to somebody passing away, or you feel that you're responsible for and guilt. I wonder if that is can cause you to be trapped in this lower world and the middle world, which is where the trees are, and you become like part of the elemental spirits. I'm just bringing it up. I can't tell you if it's true or not, but I know there's other people out there that do interact with these things. They do have some form of communication. And we need to have them come on board and somehow talk to them in a way that's respectful. At the same time, we don't have to just blindly accept every, religious or new age idea, right? We can still use our scientific minds or inquiry minds and still learn more about it. I think it's going to open up regardless if you'd like. And so the best thing I think to do is to embrace it. What do you think?
Yeah, and I've noticed just from doing what I do, like I had someone reach out to me because she felt her part of her mother was still in their old home. And I went there and investigated, had a lot of interaction, one of the most I've ever had with devices.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things that came through the devices and EVPs were messages which sounded like she believed were her mother saying them, and multiple times said, "Please forgive me." And
I
you
think a
talk
big
about,
part of all this is learning to forgive oneself and
yeah,
forgive others. I think so. Go on, be quick.
yeah, I was saying like that might be true even just with with people when they pass, if there's part of them still here, if they have that regret or feeling like they've done something wrong, they're saying it. And that was captured when I was there recording and with the devices. More than once, EVP said, "Forgive me," or "I forgive you." There was something to some kind of like a need for forgiveness in certain ways that seemed to come out through the voices and the messages.
It's like so guilt seems to be something that might be trapping our souls.
Yeah.
A lack of forgiveness, confusion, um, misunderstanding of some sort. Maybe even being part of like violence or some kind of thing that really did cause some adverse um, pain.
Yeah, and from what she told me about the relationship between her parents too, it made sense. There was something to that with some hard feelings with how they were treated, and it came out too in the messages during that video. It was the one I put, "Remembering Millie," two
What's
parts.
it, have you heard yourself of this whole concept of letting spirits go when they're able to let go is by through forgiveness? So you actually forgiving it. In other words, say there's somebody's mother,
Yeah.
and they're they know they've been a crappy mother. They've done a pretty crappy job and
They want to be forgiven to help move on.
yeah, Messin one keeps trying to tell us goodnight. So
Well, good night, Ramona.
yeah. What if the yeah, that was a big part of why people are trapped in here is because they haven't been given the okay forgiveness. But how much is us judging each other and us being judgmental actually causes us trapped in this matrix, maybe trapped in these streets, trapped in this
Emotions, yeah, like some emotional, something that you might not have been able to express, before you passed away.
well, just the listen, anybody who's lived their life has something that they deeply regret, that they feel guilty about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when you look at a lot of the different religious principles, it's all been about forgiveness, learning how to forgive yourself and forgive others. And it's a process because it keeps, and I do think there's a certain spirits out there that are responsible that continue to make you feel guilty about the things you did in your past, right? Things that really don't matter in the long run, but because of the guilt, the guilt is a form of a snare, a trap. It's like, think about it. When you've done something that you feel really guilty about, what happens, you have an ability to even, that guilt will dominate your thought process, right?
Yeah.
It'd be very difficult for you to be productive or think of other things. And until that, but when you like when I was in AA and I did all my events, and I went around and apologized to people for being, sloppy, irresponsible, drunk at a time. And I was like, and the funny thing is that the person who got the most benefit from it was myself. Many of the people that I ended actually asking for forgiveness for, they didn't even care. It was me that was feeling guilty about what I did. Does that make sense? I wonder if there's something that translates into this. Maybe I'm making a mistake by projecting, but I just hear too many times from other people where spirits who felt guilty for things they did in the past, asking for forgiveness, and when they were given that forgiveness, they moved on. I wonder if that's part of your job down the road, bro.
Yeah, definitely. And, I try to keep in mind sometimes it's not, it's still like a learning curve for me with maybe helping the spirits. Because when you start interacting and you start realizing that you're getting maybe an intelligent response, there's something there, you kind of like don't think beyond maybe what you might need to do to help. Maybe they actually need help. You're just kind of like in your mode of trying to, show that. And, that's one of the things that I do, I do keep in mind, and maybe I don't always make as many attempts as I should to encourage or see if there's something I can do right then to help, but then again, sometimes I don't always know, if what is being conveyed is a message that might need action to forgive them. Maybe it'll help them move on. But that's one of the things that I do think about.
Well, yeah, well, you get these messages. Now, the question then comes, are these spirit boxes, are they programmed to just say the same things over again? Or, I mean, what do you know about these things? Why do they keep saying the same things? Are they programmed that way? Are they, tell us more about this. Because, people are going to ask this question. It's inevitable, right?
I think the databases are not necessarily infinite to where every single word and phrase is there. The phrases might be, or it might not be as complex as maybe could allow better communication. But once you use it for a while, you start to understand or get an idea when you hear a message that it could mean maybe a few different things. And that's what, I start to notice when I hear a message. I start to think beyond necessarily what it's saying directly, because it might be interacting with what it has to use. So I think it's limited, but then the more you use it, the more you'll understand. And that spirit talker I use, the reason why I'm set on that is because I've seen it time and time again. Messages that correspond exactly, like uncanny, where you're at when you ask and you get a reply. And when you get replies that match up with an actual EVP that was recorded, and then you hear a message when I hear the EVP, and then I hear an actual message come through the spirit talker, and they're the same. Those kind of things make me realize that it can be used and it's reliable. You just got to kind of I get a feel for it. So I know sometimes when something's communicated through it, if it's exact or if it might not be, I try to, improvise, think through it, try to see if maybe it has another meaning behind it because it's trying to say something else, but the database is limited. Like the example was there are demons. That same message there's an EVP of a woman saying that there are demons. And shortly after, I got that same exact message on my device. So when I hear that, I know the woman must have used the device to say what she already said. and that I was able to capture that is just another reason why I know the device is reliable.
What about positive messages? Do you ever hear any of that?
Oh yeah, my name. That one
Yeah,
always
they-
like makes me. It's kind of like it lets me know that they get they know me, and
What
even
about
though
things like love? Do you ever hear? I know it sounds corny for grown men,
Mhm.
but let's be honest. I mean, you are interacting. It seems like female spirits. So why don't they ever say love, or do they ever say love, or I love you,
trying to
or
think if I've ever
or
got
I
something to
need
that
love,
effect.
or I want love, or something like that. You know what I mean?
There's messages I've had like that. I don't know if it's ever said love directly on there. We're like friends. I've got friends. We're friends. Like in that video that I did recently, I was communicating. I was trying to make communication to the protectors, like I said, and I asked if there was a protector there and if they would talk to me. And then I got a message that said, "Let's be friends."
Right.
And I thought that seemed pretty timely, and I felt like it was a way it was trying to tell me that it's okay, you're here. So I've got
I
messages
wonder.
like that.
I wonder if these entities are the inspirations for a lot of these gargoyles on Catholic cathedrals. Just bringing that out there because a lot of these things look like they could pull it off as one. This guy right here, he's quite little gargoyle-ish like, or a combination of guys. It's really bizarre. Anyways, the other thing is this EMF.
Mm-hmm.
Your readings. What have the readings been like? You said that last video when you were out there. How high did it get?
Not very high. That I was, some of the things like we talked about when you like listen to others and you get a chance to meet others like you and I've met others and I know I listen and I'm paying more attention to certain things that I may have overlooked, like the trees. So if you see me in that, I was checking whenever I would go by trees to see if I got any EMF readings. I got a slight variation for a short time. But at that point, for that time I was there in that area, I really didn't get EMF readings. But I've had them a lot of different places before, West Branch especially, a lot of just random, unusual.
Did you notice any particular locations where there was a higher concentration of EMF so far?
Well, at that place I was just at, that new area where I had that whole interaction with the REM pod and the device, that was a lot. If you see it, the REM pod, I had a lot of interaction with the REM pod and a lot of temperature variations. So there was some activity in that area. And I kind of felt drawn to that area for some reason because I had a lot of area to stop and check. And when I found that area, I felt like this seems like an area that I want to check. And that's what I documented there was that interaction with the REM pod, and the message said my name through the device. And there was times where I asked if they knew my name. One said there was two messages, I think, that said I look familiar or I look the same. And I thought maybe that was related why it said my name.
That's right.
Seemed like someone knew me or something knew me.
Which is not surprising now, is it?
A little bit,
I mean,
but maybe not.
If you think about familiar spirits and you think about
in that case, it seemed
traveling spirits, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even distant spirits. I think that it's not that far fetched. I think, what has been your evolution and understanding of spirits at this point? I mean, that's what you're dealing with.
What it's been, it's been more understanding the connection and understanding that they can actually see me and know me. So some of the messages about knowing me, that's something that I think I've begun to understand, is that I might go somewhere and it's like being around for a while. something with how I feel like I've grown with my connection. It seems like I'm getting recognized, and it's like they're able to know me. And it seems odd, but that's something that seems to happen often when I go places.
Yeah, it does. Seems quite a bit. What's up, Long Island Bigfoot Mike? And thank you, Diesel. This is a very nice comment. And the joke was funny as well. I appreciate all the talking about this kind of stuff with respect. I think it needs to be done. I think as researchers, we need to be very much um, proper captures, Mike. Thanks. Okay, thanks, man. I think you're giving me a compliment. Thanks. I I don't know after time because I'm not that smart, I guess. But I think that there's we got so much going on here in our research, and we are avoiding a huge part of it, and that is the spiritual realm. And that there's something else going on too. If these things are emitting the kind of EMF frequencies that I think that they're possibly can do, it would explain how a lot of these trees end up dying when these things pop out of them that I've seen personally. I think that's something that's important that we keep in mind. We document areas of sightings and look of we capture them, record them, right? Observations, sightings, and encounters. See what happens in those areas to the trees, and just as a note, because it might explain to us a great deal more than we realize, especially the energetic influence and power behind these things when they do manifest. Now, one thing that I've noticed in these trees when I film them is that there is quite a bit of die-off in these trees, and a lot of them do die, especially the ones that I've had that have actually had encounters with where I know, and by the way, Ravens will be with me tomorrow, and she knows just like I do that they come out of the trees, and she's going to say the same thing, and we're just going to tell you the truth. They come out of the trees.
I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch that tomorrow.
And because, and if you get another person, and then, it doesn't really matter if anybody listens to me, as long as somebody listens to somebody. That's how I see it at this point. You know what I mean? We got so much to get past to get to the next level of understanding of our realm. I wonder sometimes too if this is a deliberate revelation that they're part of too, as far as the creation of technology necessary to film them, to get to the point where we will. Well, here's the thing: as I become more accustomed to the fact that these things are around, Damien will probably attest to that, and a few others. When you see these things, at first you get a little freaked out about it, but as time goes on, you start to realize, well, they all come in different shapes and sizes, and they're pretty ugly, and they think I'm pretty ugly. Hell, most human beings think I'm ugly. So it's like one of those things. What do we do about it? I think we're going to learn to come to terms with this, like our ancestors did. You know what I mean? I don't know how we're going to react to it eventually. I mean, there's always going to be those group of people that feel like they need to follow their followers and worship. They got to worship something, so they're going to do that. But there's a lot of people like ourselves who are just going to go, well, it's part of life, like the squirrels, like the birds. And let's see what she says. This is my first time watching O.R.D. I'm Kristen. Hi. And the daughter of the mother, Mike. You know her?
Yeah. When I was talking about when I was at the home, and the messages were asking for forgiveness, that was her daughter. That she's the one that told me
okay, Chris.
The connection to her mom, and asked me to come check it out and see what we captured and try to communicate. She was with me when I did that.
I honestly think that, what would happen? This would be an interesting experimentation. Maybe it's already been done. Maybe people are doing it, and I'm just, slow at the gun. But what would happen if there was a group of people that went around the forest and forgave the spirits within the trees? or asked for forgiveness, or gave them that opportunity to be released.
You know,
What would happen?
that's interesting you say that. It wasn't, well, part of it was documented, but most of it was not. The cameraman called me up once from something he heard from my recording that I didn't hear yet. And he actually felt like there were spirits or entities that were actually asking for help. And he told me about it because I didn't listen to it. He did. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, let's go and see. And him and myself and Tin Man, that's, one of the guys from his crew, the three of us went down to West Branch, and we went to some of the areas, and we were basically trying to encourage spirits that needed to move on. We were trying to see if they needed help moving on. And we spent time down there, and that was our whole goal. And he actually documented some of it with his cell phone camera for a short time. And he saw orbs actually fly towards me when I was asking them to come to the light to see if they needed help moving on. It was very interesting, but did you say that that's exactly kind of what we did?
Did they go through you? Are you the one that they went through as well?
Yeah, for that time when he captured it, he did see more than one orb he caught with his camera that actually looked like it flew right to me, and then it disappeared. We thought maybe there was some that managed to move on.
I agree with this one. Valiant One says trees are dying from chemtrails, which are sprayed by orbs, which use trees to cover. Ours being jinn. Well, I don't know about all that. I mean, okay, I understand where you come from, though. I do think that the coal ash that they're dumping on us systematically is weakening the trees and everything else. And for some reason, I have a well, I'm going to tell you the truth. There is the oligarchs, the managers of this plantation in the middle realm, our middle world, are at war with us. And if you didn't realize that, and they want a bunch of us gone. And they said that we're getting too manageable. And here's the thing, too. And this is how important I believe this is. And you're talking about a guy that was very involved. I used to have thousands of subs, and I was very much involved in exposing all the machinations and evil designs that are out in this world. And I think that they're afraid of us getting back a lot of our ancient wisdom. And I think this is one of the steps towards it. It's going to be a painful process, and then there's going to be a messy process, but it's the way back. And the way back to getting the ancient wisdom is being honest. Honesty is extremely important, and especially in this research. And that is to, say, hey, this is what I'm filming. I'm not quite sure what I'm filming, but it looks like this. And I know you guys don't like what I have to say because it doesn't fit the official narrative, but we will find the people who are honest about stuff. Eventually we'll get together. The people who are honest will make the difference in the world. Those that keep on perpetuating lies, they will still be part of this world. And I think that's honestly, it seems to me that forgiveness and honesty is the key to all of this. I'm not talking religious or philosophical. I'm talking about there's something that's like the key of getting out of this matrix. That's what I'm trying to get at. Honesty and forgiveness, which sounds new agey, but I'm not talking about new agey nonsense. I'm talking about it. Anyone who's been around this planet knows how important it is to be forgiven and how important it is for other people in your life to be honest to you, right? And we need to do the same thing in all things. And I think it's important. I think that when you are that person and you try to be that person, you try to have that kind of integrity, things are revealed to you. Like this thing or two things. And if you can see it, you can see him looking at me. Can you see it? Do you see what I see? Do you see there's something there, Mike?
I see something there. I'm not sure if I recognize maybe its parts, but
This is his hands. There's a little guy.
see, that
And
looks like a head up top.
This is a head right here.
Yeah.
And this is his hands around this thing right here. And you can even see what's weird. It's his legs. Some people say, "Oh, it's a baby Sasquatch." Maybe it is. I don't know. But there's his hands. There's his. You see one of his eyes, right? This is this popping out there, and there's another shot. It's like a shadow. It's. I know, it doesn't fit the narrative, but when you start realizing you're dealing with shadows, spirits manifesting, you start seeing them. And once you realize there are arms and their legs popping out of the trees, and you're gonna have to deal with, a lot of criticism and people calling you names and thinking you're an idiot. But eventually, everyone's going to come to this term. They're going to realize what I'm sharing, because more and more people are going to share it. Once somebody points this stuff out to you, you can't miss it. Right? It's just like what's going on with you, Mike, with the audio. Once this stuff happens and this starts popping up in certain areas, you're not going to be able to miss the fact that there's something going on here interdimensionally and spiritually. Now, what do we do with it? Or what do we do about it? That's important questions, especially when we're out there tromping out in the woods and thinking that, thinking one thing when there's something else completely different going on.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is whether you're, documenting it for whatever your reasons are, to show others, to enlighten others. The most important thing is that you connect with it yourself and you try to let that grow and start to, I guess, just like become one with it, or you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily, I don't know if I explained that right, but that you show the appreciation that they're there, and they're probably part of the reason why they're there, and you kind of do that personally for yourself. That's like, I think, the most important part, and documenting it is just, I think that's useful to share with others and to show, but that personal connection, I think, is what's the most important thing.
Yeah, and then we got to think about what's important to us as well. But just go back. This for those who are wondering. Let me give you a little closer look. Now that you see, there's an eye right here. There's the other eye right there. You can even see the white of the eye. You can see the black pupil. You can see the hair. Then he's got this like Bigfoot hands. They're all blurry, right? And there's one of his legs. I know it's crazy. That part, I shouldn't say that. But there, if you can't, you definitely can see the eyes popping out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So last middle of the day, it's been there. I don't, some people say, "Oh, your place is haunted, your town's haunted." I said, "No, this is happening all over, everywhere." The difference is that you and I haven't been told that until now. This is everywhere. And that you can see this everywhere if you so desire. And if you don't desire, you'll never see it, but you're still going to feel and sense their influence in your life. It's just like anything else. If they are, everything is connected. And this is part of this realm. And I know listen, you go through your phases. And when you're this, when you first start out this stuff, you're inquisitive, or you just out to look at fun, or you want to be part of a group, or maybe you didn't even have an encounter, right? But as time goes on and you mature, you realize there's a lot more going on around us. And what we need to do is to be honest about that. And honestly. So I don't know how you doing for time, buddy.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm good.
Okay. Are you joining this? Or am I just ranting and raving, preaching to the choir?
No, it's all good stuff.
Let's watch a little bit of that video that you did in the daytime. Is it okay if we do that?
I'm sure.
And then when we get to these comments, let's I don't know. Does anybody want to should we take like a 5-minute break, take a lunch, a cigarette break or something like that, bathroom break, and then What should I play? Why don't you play the beginning part of that video? Or no,
Sure.
or I'll play something. What else? Whatever you want. What do you want to do?
Oh man, let's see.
Play like a short video of yours.
Okay.
Let's take a little break.
I'll show you something interesting. We'll take a break if you want. I'll show you something interesting, some experiences.
Sorry, I had the company come. I will have to review. Yeah, well, you're not too late, Raven. In fact, if you want, would you like me, Mike, to put an invite out for anybody who wants to join us?
I'm fine with that. Sure.
Okay, so if anybody wants to join us, then you can come in and talk about your experiences, your understandings. And nor do you have to do this. This is just an invitation. Sometimes people join us, sometimes they don't. I know last Thursday that was a great time, man. They had everybody, not everybody, but he had like was it Brown Dwarf and a few others.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, I saw you had
It did turn out pretty good, I
a
thought.
bunch of people joined. A lot of good stuff. I watched that.
So if you guys follow that link at StreamYard, you can come in and join us. I'll open it up and bring you in if you want. In the meantime, either I can play one of my videos, Mike, or you can play one of yours. What do you want? But we've been doing this for 2 hours, and I need to take a break.
Yeah.
Which means I need to go to the bathroom, and I'm going to do the same thing you're doing. I'm going to have a cigarette. So there you go. It's up to you, man. What do you want to do? Tell us. Play your video or me play a video?
I'll show a few things.
Okay, let's do that. So
All right.
I'm going to let's just make it cinematic so people can see it. Okay.
Sure will. All right.
Yes, I'm hoping so, Raven. We're all hoping you're coming back tomorrow. We've been talking about you, so good things, by the
That
way.
was not the right one, sorry.
So, I mean, I think we've revealed some pretty cool audio, some pretty cool imagery. I mean, look at that. This is mid-daylight when the eye shine out of a tree. We got to talk about that too. Maybe we'll do that next.
This I'll show. There's a couple parts of the video I made shorts out of that were, like one of the things I noticed. There's a lot of, the spirits. It seems like I've run into that seem intelligent. Some of them, they have some sarcastic side to them, or even some humorous side to it, and I've captured some of it, and I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's that trickster spirit thing going on again,
Yeah.
right? The Native Americans talked about.
Yeah, here's one. This is a little sarcasm, and I thought this was pretty funny. I'll show this. Marjorie, was that you? Again? Gordon, if it's you, Gordon, would you touch the device again for me? If it's you. Somebody else?
Obviously.
That sarcastic reply, I thought that was great. I asked if Marjorie would touch the device.
Perfect timing too.
If Gordon was there, would he touch the device? And I was like, somebody else, and it said obviously. Here, this one. Marjorie, was that you? Let me go back, and here's one. I thought this was another kind of humorous thing. Did you miss me while I was upstairs? And then watch the reply, the spike. Oh, that was a yes.
Arthur.
Arthur. Well, Arthur, is that you? And that was one of many times where I've had just EVPs where they will say, like, that one actually acknowledged me. He said, hey, Mike. And you see this place I went to, this place had some high energy there. I had static charges the whole time I was there. I kept just like jumping on the trampoline, like static charge. The hair just would pull away from my arms. And it reflected. If you watch this video, this was my investigation into poltergeist, because this had a lot of poltergeist activity here. I had EMF, insane EMF through this house everywhere I went. An interesting investigation. One of the most charged places I've been to. But that's what I thought was like some personality that came through with some messages. And here's another interaction at my research site where I've had my name on EVPs many times there, and devices. And this was one I captured.
All right, let's set up. Oh, yes. You remember me. Thank you. Hear that?
In the background, there was a big splash in the water. We kept hearing them that night too. There was something, it sounded like something's being thrown in the water throughout the night in the lake. But that was one where they said my name again when I was there, which was pretty interesting. And right here on this was a supposed witch's grave site, a pressing site. That's what this pile is. And that's where I get a lot of EMF there when I go there, just with the EMF detector. It's another charged place, but that was where it all started for me, was there. And that's where I like to go to. And then this right here, this was the EVP about the.
I'm here to mostly listen tonight, my friends.
It sounds like a woman's voice saying there are demons. And just shortly after that, I captured this.
Man,
There are demons.
if I'm in danger, would you touch a device and let me know, please? Because if I need to leave, I would just like to know.
Kill.
There was something with the season too, which I don't know if we ever talked about, but he's muted right now, but there was something with the season changed, and there was a bunch of negativity that seemed to come into my research site. And that was some of the highlights that captured some of the negativity. And it wasn't like that before the winter. As soon as the winter time hit, things got negative, and I'm still trying to understand why. And I also saw that being there during that same time period. So I don't know if it's related, just more questions I have and things that I've documented. But anybody who's wanted to ever experience things like paranormal things, I've learned pretty quick, West Branch, there's something special, something kind of scary, and something ancient about that area. And it was proven too about about West Branch. They proved that, I guess, based on some of the vegetation. They did a study, the one professor, they proven their theory, which they believe is legit, is that it didn't freeze over during the Ice Age. And that's why I always refer to it as an ancient place, because if that's true, you're talking about who knows what could have been surviving there for who knows how long. And then you see the things that have been documented with the thermal images, what I've seen, and the voices I hear all the time. There's something to that area that's, kind of keeps me going back to document the different interactions and others, like the cameraman. But West Branch is definitely just a very mysterious place where you got a lot of things that happen, a lot of things that make you interested trying to understand it. But I'm definitely going to watch tomorrow. Raven, you're going to be on. Ever since I met Mike here, I like a lot of the theories and a lot of things he talks about, especially from what I've experienced. I could see that he's aware of some things that I'm starting to notice around me that seem to make sense. And that's just like, for me, it's like networking and making friends, new friends that do research, which paranormal to me means a lot of things. And I'm learning that more and more now. So I like to spend time and meet people who research different things. And just like William from over at Maryland, Squatch Watcher, when he was telling his theories or things that he knows about some of the beings, and when I heard him talk about some things, and then automatically there were some things that I related to from my experiences, and I had to talk to him and learn more and talk to him. And that's what I really like about communities, like becoming bigger from meeting each other, talking about experiences, especially if we relate to them. Okay, Raven. Yeah, I'll definitely be on and watch it. You see my cats. My cats are going nuts. They're all wound up now. Hey, Weasel. You've done that stuff in my younger years. It was not good to come out, and I do not want to do that again. Well, I've only really been digging in and doing my own research. Hasn't been very long. It's been like 6 months for me. On my own channel. I think I started my channel in October. That's a big mic for a big mic. You're muted.
I forgot to block my camera while I was doing that. So, anyways, everybody saw me in my boxer shorts, probably.
That's all right.
Hey, Raven, if you're still here, please send me some images that you want to look at with us tomorrow. Any photographs, any images and so I can remember, so I can put it up there in an order. That'd be really great. So, let's see.
Diesel, I was reading what Diesel said there. Come across a lot of trees that are literally buried, ancient looking pines. That's interesting.
I see. I've been walked back. There's a bunch of comments. Let's see. Before let's the trees. Add to the stream.
Thanks, Diesel.
I wanted to share with you. I shine in the middle of the day out of a tree. And this is, I think, is important. It's discovery. It seems so subtle, and it's not that important, but I think it is extremely important. And
that's something.
I don't know if you guys can see the eye shine popping out of the trees there. Once again, I told you they live in the trees. I don't know. I'm not making it up. So anyway,
that's one of the things I do now that I talk to you, Mike, and the things we talk about is I pay a lot more attention now to the trees.
Yeah, I think it's a very important thing. I got to get back to all this stuff. Amazing stuff, bro. I think he's talking to you.
Oh, thanks.
By the way, Sean, thank you for just sticking it out and being there. He's always there. He's like, someday gonna get him set up so he can talk about his experiences. He's down there in Southeast Ohio. I believe that's where it is. Somewhere in Southern Ohio. He had an interview with the dog man dude, Kunzen or something. I can't remember his name. Anyways, I posted it out on my channel actually. Yes, and I will bring some out. Yes, I hope so. Yes, we got lots of stuff to talk about. I had a wonderful day, a wonderful hour. So talking to Raven, and I think you guys, if you don't know her, and I know I talked to her years ago, but I think it obviously wasn't that impressive of a conversation on my part. But she forgot and didn't remember. But I remember her voice, and she was right about a lot of things. I found out, and I was wrong about a lot of things, and so here I am. I like finding people who want to be honestly explore our world and how. Yeah, I think so. I think it's I think it's very the wrong approach not to. You know what I mean? People, I think they, I don't know why. I think probably it's because it's a lot of it's indoctrination. I think a lot of us suffer from MK Ultra, mind control through the television and through the public fool system and all that other stuff. Yeah. Sorry.
I'll be right back.
For years. Yeah, she has. Oh, you guys could take off a little bit? Okay. So while he's
just a short break, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I had mine, so it's okay. So, you see here, folks, in this image, yeah, you did. You have talked to a lot of people. I know. She's got great art, too. I can't wait to share a couple pieces of her art. And that's when I saw that painting of Bigfoot next to the tree and all that was going on in the tree. And I'm like, yes, she does really know what I know. And I know what she knows. And I'm like, yes, I'm not, alone in all this. But anyways, it's interesting that eye shine that's right in the middle of the day, just popping out. Very, and I like to tell you that it's pareidolia, but it's not pareidolia. I hate to tell you that. Now, let's think about this for a second. We talk about orbs and the energy and what is emitted from orbs. And this, whatever it is, whether it's plasmic in nature or whether it's something else, these things like the orb whisperer told us, he told us this in his own research. And this is a guy we got to bring him back on again, who has the ability to summon the orbs. And he says they lived in the trees. So we get now another example of the fact that the possibility, a possible example at least, that they live in the trees. And I know people must think I'm a broken record, but I think it's such an important part of our whole reality. And I do believe that in the past, our ancestors had much more respect for trees than we do today. A lot more respect. And I do believe that many of them adopted trees as kind of like their sacred totem or their sacred connection between the underworld, the middle world, and the upper world. And I think we kind of missed the point and missed kind of the balance understanding of it. But we'll get there. We'll get back there. We work together. This guy, he's a pretty weird looking dude here. I don't know what to say about that, but he's in my neighborhood too. And I guarantee you, he's in your neighborhood as well, or one of his buddies is. You know what I'm saying? And so if you look at this guy a little bit, he's got the alien-like eyes on him. You see that, Mike?
Yep, I see it.
You see that? You see that olive-shaped eyes? And I have filmed many a thing that looks just like aliens that we call aliens. That's why I wonder, a lot of these things that we call aliens or little green men or whatever, or demons or whatever, they really are entities that live in the underworld and the middle world. Now, underworld, once again, is anything that's below us, right? It's the soil, it's the water, it's there's many cultures out there, many cultures, and not just in Africa, but all who recognize that there are whole cities under the sea, spiritual, interdimensional cities. There's quite a bit of a strong argument that under us there is civilizations, total cities that we don't quite understand, that the ancients talked about. And that actually, like in the United States, most people don't realize, there was a tunnel that was found that was dug from the east, basically from one side of the Mississippi all the way to the other side of the Mississippi. A huge tunnel that no one ever talks about. Huge underwater, underground labyrinths and possible places where people lived in times of maybe cataclysmic. Well, some of the natives talk about the ants, the ant people, and that's something to think about. So there's something going on here, and it's it's like, okay, the question arises and naturally it's going to, for a lot of people, is, Mike, why is it so easy for you to film this stuff? Are you are you they attached to you? Are they are you demon possessed, right? And that's
I wonder that myself.
Yeah, well, I don't think so. I mean, listen, as somebody who has Christian background, all this kind of stuff, I did all this kind of deliverance work and everything. And what happened is that I even became more open up to what was going on around. So you tell me that, I think that the problem is our profound ignorance of what's really going on around us, that they have masterfully taken away from us. I like almost like a sixth sense, a thing about us that we recognize things much more, and we were much more aware of what was around us. Am I saying our ancestors 4 or 5 generations ago? I think collectively. And I think what has happened is that the controllers, if you will, the grand wizards of this place, the black magicians, have blinded us from what's all around us. I mean, I just try to be preachy about, but what else can one say? I mean, how can it? People say, "Well, the veil is thinning, and the world's going to end." But I don't believe that the world's going to end, and I don't think the veil is thinning. I think that we're getting technology to film these things, and we're getting back together, and we're talking about this slowly. And yeah, there's different groups involved, and there's people that are very dark. They're involved with this, and there's people that are in the light, and everything else. I think it's very much more complicated than everybody wants to admit. Everyone wants to act like they're just absolutely, you know, experts in all this. But I mean, you tell me, I mean, how do I mean, I think you guys can do the same thing. I'm totally convinced. If you're rightly aligned with the creator and you want to see this stuff and you ask them to see this stuff, these things will reveal themselves. And if you have the right technology, a halfway decent camera, like a P900, you can film these things all around you. The problem is, I think that we've been conditioned to look at the wrong place. Does that make sense, Mike?
Yeah, I think when I talk about being grounded, I think people tend to be more grounded and not really spiritual, I guess you could say. And they tend to just focus on
The materialistic.
materialistic things, and they don't see the bigger picture, or that there's more to just being a human and doing what you do day to day. I think that's like a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I spent a grand total Sunday of 20 minutes filming. This is what I've shown you today, and it's not even all of it. I show you just some of the image I filmed in 20 minutes on Sunday. I just sensed that there was something going on. I was like, my trees are not looking right, and I wanted to document it. Not necessarily if I cared, if I did film these guys, it was cool. If I didn't, cool. But they revealed themselves, and I think
It's like
they
they're
realized.
interested. Like they're interested. They kind of maybe realize the connection, and then you go and they see you. They start like noticing you, and then you start noticing them.
Yeah, but I think office technology. I mean, these things aren't like tormenting me. These things aren't like coming in my house. These things aren't like causing me fear. And a lot of the times when I am sensing fear, it's usually because I'm like of my own confusion and my own ignorance, and I don't understand exactly what I'm dealing with. And and people just, it's a natural reaction based on what we've been raised with, to think that everything's evil. But I don't think so. I think that, and also think they recognize that I do have concern about the trees, their realm. I don't like what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the massive die off in my area, at least, and I'm seeing massive die off in other places. Our ancestors here, what they used to do is that you would have controlled burns, for one thing, and that's not something we're not doing. That would help the regrowth and everything else, and it was all part of the natural cycle of things. And we have interrupted even that. Now, I'm not trying to be a tree hugger, and I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, but I do have great concern about the fact that we are just dumping everything everywhere. It's like we're hell bent. It's like there's something at the very top. People are just hell bent on destroying this place. And I am concerned about that. I have a son and I have people in my life. I care about my community, even if they don't care about me. And wire there. Another thing is there's a telephone wire there. So here's another. Is that part of it? Did the electricity from that telephone wire help them manifest? Is all those hands that I'm looking at that he's looking around there, or is it other entities? I mean, you can't deny that there's something looking at you, right? And I'm not just trying to say that just to stroke my ego, because I could, you guys can copy all this stuff and you can share it. You can take credit if you want. I'm not asking for, to be rich or famous or be anything. The reason I'm calling upon people like Raven and Mike and others is because I want to understand my world and share what I'm finding and what they're finding, because we all have a bit of an answer to a big puzzle that's been all scrambled up deliberately, I believe. And we've been deceived terribly. What is this thing? Is this the same thing that people end up having some form of encounters? You know what I'm saying, Mike? Like alien type thing? Did it get mistaken for it? I don't. I mean, I'm asking questions that I don't even have answers to. I know that we don't. None of us do. But why? What are they? What are they about? You know? Got any answers, Mike?
Well, like,
After 6 months, maybe he has some fresh. I can only imagine a guy who's only been doing this for 6 months, and then he runs across me. And guys like me, and it's like, holy crap, what the hell did I walk myself into? Or I walk into?
well, I've a lot of the things, like, just from where I've been going, what I've experienced, and listening to others like yourself and the experiences, it's just it helps. It does help me, and it's good to meet others who have a better understanding and a better connection, and to see your experience and see what you see. It helps. It does help me, and that's one of the things that I've picked up on is it helps me see things that I didn't see before. And when I'm trying to document things now, there's things that help me, or I'm able to look in different places and see what else is there.
Yeah, look at different spots than you normally would look at, right? And
Yeah.
look at that locations that you never. Glad to see you all tonight. Thanks, Mike, and thank you. I can't hold my eyes open. I know we're probably going to close the shop here in a little bit, anyways.
Yeah, I got work tomorrow too.
It's been an excellent night, I think. As far as information goes, we didn't get a chance, and I want to talk about this first about equipment. What kind of equipment? How much does this cost to get this going? What are you using?
Well, my number one piece of equipment is my audio recorder, and a good audio recorder is anywhere from $20-$30 or more, but I never look too fancy. Just something that's a good audio recorder.
Does it have like a smart card on it or somewhere you can download on your computer, that kind of thing?
I mean, it records on a small SD card, and it's pretty basic. It's nothing real fancy, because they were capturing voices on
Thank you, Sheldon.
cassettes.
Thanks for being there, buddy.
Back when there was just cassettes, recording on a cassette player. There were documented EVPs picked up. Anything that records, there's that phenomenon, EVP, and it's been around a while. And all it takes is a cell phone with the way to record, or a recording.
So
device.
what app do you use on your cell phone?
The Spirit Talker is the one that I use, which is.
Is it free? Does it cost money?
The Spirit Talker, it's like $3 or $4 for that app.
Oh, really? Is it a month or just?
No, that's like one time, and you buy the rights to use it. It updates as long as you have connection. It'll update
do you need to have a specific type of phone, or will it work for Android as well?
I have it on an Android and an iPhone. It's on both. Like, you can get it for either kind of device. It's in the same. You can get the same app in either.
Why did you choose that one?
Well, I seen it used. It goes back to what's their name? There's that I can't think of the name of the channel, but it's like one of the biggest YouTube paranormal channels, Twin Paranormal, and I think they had a part in the development of that app. I haven't really researched the app and who designed it, but I saw it used when Twin Paranormal used it, and because most people are familiar with that Ovilus device, and that's what the spirit talker is basically like. It's like an Ovilus device to where it gives a database of words, and then it seems like it can be interacted with and can pick the replies and the words that they want to use to tell you.
The Twins Paranormal. So he
Yeah.
says that's sweet.
Yeah, Twin
Hell yeah.
Paranormal. I think they're like the biggest like paranormal YouTube channel.
I don't know.
I'd be mistaken if they're the biggest, but I know they're one of the biggest.
I consciously, be honest with you, I consciously try to avoid as much as
I
No,
honestly
the reason-
watched
I-
a little bit of them. I don't watch very much myself either, but
not that
saw that.
I don't. Why is it I do? I think it's because I guess I'm at another stage of development, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
And
think that's why I don't watch a lot either.
And not saying I'm better than them or like that. I just at a different. I mean, it's like I'm at a stage of more deeper answers. I need something deeper than I already know the spirits exist. I already know. I'm sharing it with the fact that I know. I just I need deeper answers. So that's why I'm hanging out with a guy like you, which is ironic. It's almost like this old saying that comes actually out of the Bible. New wine and old wineskins breaks. It's not any good. But new wine in a new wineskin or a new person like you, a newer guy, it seems to you're able to take it and hold it. You know what I mean? Where if you develop so much indoctrination and misinformation that it's hard for you to see clearly again. You know what I mean? And so I'm kind of hesitant where to go with as far as following people. I'm not saying I'm not going to try this out. I'll try out the twin. Maybe you guys are right. Maybe they're awesome, but I'm just like, it's just Bigfoot. It's the same way. It's like if it's all about scary stories, I just don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, like that's paranormal. I never really watched a lot of them. I mean, I know of them because of how popular they are, and someone turned me on to watching some of it, and that's where I saw the device. But for me, I think I like to see other. I should look around just to see the equipment being used more so than watching what they're doing. Because like I kind of had my own vision when I did my channel, and it just went off of my own curiosity and like my own instincts, I guess. And that's kind of what I'm sticking to. And I don't like to really get too deep into like what other people do. I just kind of like am going the way that I feel like I need to go. But seeing what
you have
equipment's
to
out
do
there,
that. I think you have to spend more time with the spirit and with yourself than
right.
At some point. I mean, because it's really easy to get sucked up in the group and really get sucked up in other people's how they see things. It's just like I always try to tell people that let's hang out together, let's be friends, let's learn from each other. Here's one of the things that bugs me. We're going off base again here, but you hear stuff like we subs and followers, and the thing that bugs me more than it fans. And I'm like, you know what? None of you are my followers. None of you are my fans, and I'm grateful that you're that you are who you are. You're fellow journeyers, you're fellow travelers. And I know people say, "Oh, it sounds like Freemason." And I'm like, "No, I'm not a Freemason. I'm nothing. I'm just a dude." Okay, just a dude. Really, I'm just the dude, literally. I just don't ever want that. I don't want it ever to be. That makes me sick to my stomach. The egotisticalness of it. I think in order for this stuff work, you really have to work on. Well, humility is not what people think. Humility means to be teachable. It's not about a performance. It's not about, how, someone presents themselves. It means to be teachable. Now, from my experience and what I've got at this point is the best teacher that I figured out, and it's a weird way it works because it's not talking to you. But if you really allow the spirit of all things, the creator spirit to guide you, then you will you're going to run into things you never thought you're going to run into. That's you. By the way, no one else can do it for you. I can't do it for you. Mike can't do it for it. Nobody can do it for you. Only you and your journey with the Creator can do that. Now, I know that drives people crazy, especially those who don't believe in Creator. And I just say, it's, and I know I wrestle with myself. You have to like get this whole idea out of your head, like there's a dude with a beard up there, right? It's a force of truth in life. That truth, the way of truth in life, will lead you to some pretty cool things. I really do think so. So, anyways, so you have. What other tools do you use? You got the EMF. Looks like you just got a basic. Which EMF meter do you have?
I have two different ones. One is a pretty standard EMF meter. Those are usually $20-$25 if you buy one. Then I've got one that's audible, and it's pretty basic as well, but it actually has an audible tone, which is useful because if I'm not watching it, I can know if it goes like over 4 milligauss, which is pretty much like a lower reading, but it's getting up there. So if it reaches like 4 or higher, it'll just alert you. That way, if I'm not, because I got a lot of stuff going on, I'm not always watching the meter, and that way I'll know if I'm starting to get a spike just by hearing it.
How many pieces of equipment do you take in a day or night investigation on average?
Well, if I'm recording, I will try to take 2 cameras, IR cameras. One, I usually will try to fix on a certain area where maybe there's activity. Usually I'll try to get a feel, or if I know where there's activity, I'll try to get a static camera to watch it, and then I'll use devices like the REM pod, which is probably the most expensive device I have.
Okay.
And it has like a magnetic field that's like a like naturally closed circuit, and if you break it, then that's when it gets alerted. That was about $150, $160 for that. That's a really good interactive device that seems like you can capture and document activity with that. So I got the REM pod, and I usually have a camera, maybe 2 cameras. Then I have my cell phone, which I have my spirit talker going on. And then I've got just those round, they're actually a cat toy that they're just like a movement. They're basically movement activated. It's not like motion where if you just move in front of it, it has to actually like move a decent amount to go off.
Yeah.
Those are really good to capture activity, whether something actually manipulates it and moves it, or if it just completes the circuit inside of it and it has a flashing light that goes off. And those are $12 or $15 for like a little set of those. And my audio recorder, that's always with me. That's probably my main piece of equipment for evidence.
And
that's usually about it.
how many? Half a dozen or more?
Of what the pieces of equipment total? If you count each cat toy, which is usually about 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably about 10 or 12 devices.
And you got to drag all that out to a specific spot and set it all up by yourself, and then go live. I have my hats off to you, man. I would not. I am too lazy. As I told you, I don't even like doing lives, field research. I mean, I might record a little bit and do a little video and share it with people, but I don't even like. It's too distracting. I mean, that's, you know what I mean. I just don't know how you do it. So
yeah,
I'm too busy. I'm too busy just being in the presence, and it's just too much for me. Now, I just want to ask you something about this image before we go. Does anybody else see something there in the middle, like looking back at you? Like it's almost like, for some reason, it reminds me of big female Bigfoot shadow. entity thing. Do you see it, Mike?
I'm looking. I'm trying to see if
It's like here's his nose, here's his mouth all open, there's his chin, there's one eye right there and one right there. Is that a female like shadow Bigfoot? I don't know. It looks almost female though. You see the eyes?
yeah.
No, it's getting all pixelated now and blurry. Take back a little bit. I don't know. There's something there staring at me. I know it's staring back at you. So what it is, I just wonder. I'm really getting to the point that it comes to Sasquatch, it has to use the energy of the trees to even manifest physically. And this was a sunny day, and this is a day, it's the 5th of March, and it seems like it needs to absorb as much energy as possible from the trees for it to go to the next phase. But as a shadow, it's like it's a shadow of itself, right? Does that make sense? It literally is a shadow of itself. And I'm just wondering that I wonder if I'm right. I think I am right, to be honest with you. I think that he usually absorbed the energy and the life essence of the trees in order to manifest physically. I think that other half of that unknown of Sasquatch comes from the tree. And
You should get yourself the Spirit Talker app sometime and see if they'll talk to you.
yeah, well, I wonder if they will talk to me. I wonder, that's the thing. What would happen if you start talking to them and you granted them forgiveness? And I know you're trying to be their friend and all that, but go a step more and say, I know it sounds strange. You don't even have to record. Just do it on your own and see what happens. And then, you know what I mean? I forgive you for any wrongdoings that you may have done. You're forgiven. Let them know that God loves them and that you give them that. I wonder what would happen to them, because I've heard that from numerous other people. They talk about sending them into the light, and one of the things is to forgive them and let them know that not only do we accept them, but we forgive them, and they're loved, and that it's okay for them to move on. Let go of all that negative energy that's in them, especially the ones that are just talking like the negative back at you. I just wonder what would happen. Try it out if you want. Don't try it out if you don't want. But I think it might just change the scenario from a negative to more positive. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be times when a more powerful negative entity is going to try to fight back at it because he doesn't want to lose some of his turf. But I think, I think we've been told this before by other people, but maybe in the wrong way. And maybe you'll be able to find that out for us. And I'm not trying to get you to be a religious dude or being like some wacky dude. Just think about it. It might make a difference in your own life too, by the way. As far as not only your research, but peace in your own life, because we all struggle with it, right? Especially when the flood, when you talk about, the worldly side of things, the materialist things that drive us, I wonder, have you been like a spiritual dude in the past? Were you religious? I mean, what possessed you to do this? Or were you just like, I'm one of these people that just was inquisitive and just, what is it?
I mean, I don't think I've overall changed very much. I'm pretty much, I think there was a certain point where I come to terms with who I am and, the way I feel. I think what started the interest for the most part to try to understand what's there was the first real personal experience I ever had, which was when I used my phone to record and see if I could get interaction or someone to talk to me. And then probably like maybe a month after I did that recording, something spoke to me through my phone. And that was the first time when it really hit me like, whoa, I'm like, it kind of sunk into just this whole feeling of like there really is someone or something that is there that we don't understand, but it was communicating with me. It said hello. It said hello, Michael. And when that first happened, that pretty much was the start of an interest to try to understand what's there that we know, but that you can't see, but it's there, and it obviously knew me and was trying to talk to me. That's kind of where it started for me.
How has it changed you as a person in the past 6 months?
I'm better. I'm a lot better. I
And
feel
what
like I'm a lot better person than I was before. It's I think I feel this growing connection between myself and the land, the rest of the earth, everything that's there, the animals, the people, and what we can't see, whatever else is there. And I find myself being able to deal with maybe conflict that I have sometimes within me, whether it's just negativity or things. I actually will spend time, like my favorite spiritual place is the Hopewell. There's a Hopewell burial mound nearby, and I'll go there and I'll just spend time there by myself. And because I've been there and I know there's spirits there that have talked to me. I've heard them through my device, through actual EVPs speaking to me. And I go there and I spend time there and I just try to, I clear my mind. It's like I reconnect, and it seems to help.
You think it's improving your spiritual connection with the source or creator?
Right. Yeah. And that's where I keep, the feeling of like not being so, like I keep saying, grounded. I kind of like have managed to, I think, find like a good split of understanding or trying to understand or being aware of things that are beyond our understanding, greater than us, and still being myself and doing, living my everyday life.
Now, do you mind me asking these kind of questions, by the way? I never did even ask you if it's okay, because
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I can try to answer them the best I can.
I have a hard time believing that if you're going to go down this road, that you're not going to be hit smack in the face with the whole concept of God and higher beings and spirit realm and all that. So, is that something that you grew up as? Do you believe that? I mean, I'm not. By the way, I could care less if you do or not. I'm just
honestly, I never grew up in a religious setting. My grandparents were. My parents were not, and I kind of just ended up finding my own way, and I think I found my comfort now, and I think I have a better understanding that there's a creator, and that connection between the living and what else is out there, and that's kind of like where I'm expanding and growing now, and that's why I keep wanting to interact more.
Oh, there's one guy I want. Before we go, I want to share the one guy. This guy right here. This guy's fascinating that I filmed. He's a lot like, and ashamed that.
Yeah, he's looking at us right there.
Long Island Bigfoot is still not around. Probably he's not around. I don't know. I think, you know what, honestly, these I'm gonna be kind of egotistical now, but I mean, maybe I just suck at it. But there's gotta be a person with a better personality. But the kind of stuff that's being revealed in this show is at least what I thought we should have been doing all along. Anyways, but there's a dude there, and he's got the gray head. And they talk about the in I think in European mythology and the Norse mythology, I think in particular, maybe the Druids. We'll find out about that from hopefully Raven. But of the like the gray or black dwarfs. But I don't know. It's like this dude has just decided he's gonna pop his head out there. He's not alone, obviously, but the one I'm interested in is this guy right here. You know what I mean? I just think that's just cool thing. You can even see kind of his eyebrows and that one eye is really showing. His nose, it's a little crooked. He's got this bald head, dude. I don't know. I mean, is it the greatest of image? You know, I could tweak it and make it so that it really sticks out. I'm not going to do it. I'll let somebody else do it, and that way you can't accuse me of messing with the images. Why does that even matter? That's a darn good question. Why does it matter? And I think there's more images and more entities, but I want to just think of that, and I just want to bring it once again. It's in the shadows, it's in the trees. They're watching us. So what the heck? You know, they've always been. I believe they've always been watching us. But you know what? We're so disconnected from nature. I bet you, in some ways, Mike, like you going out and spend all this time in these cemeteries and the woods, it's probably some of the most time you spend in the woods, and maybe in a while, or maybe not, depending who you are.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? But I know I have. As a young boy and as a young man until like my mid 30s. Let's see, probably the time I got in the railroad. I was always outdoors, but at the time I was in my 40s. Actually, at the time I got hit with the MS. So, but I miss the outdoors. I miss it terribly. I was always outdoors. And the weird thing is I never saw these guys. But I guarantee you they were watching me the whole damn time.
Yeah.
And I just think it's kind of cool.
That's why I think, like, when I saw the being that I saw, a lot of people are like, how could you go back there? You know, this, like, I know, because the first thought after I saw that was, it's not like it just came out for the first time. This the first time it's been there. It's something new. It's been there. And as many times as I was there before that, I'm sure it's been there. And I wasn't afraid of it. I wasn't worried that something else was there. And now that I know it's there, why would I change? You know, why would I all of a sudden not want to keep doing what I was doing?
Right. If anything, it changes you to be like, I want to know more about this.
Yeah.
How did I miss all this? How did I miss all this my whole life? Was it really a good thing missing all this stuff? When I think back, did it really benefit me not knowing this stuff? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think that this is part of how they control us by us not knowing this stuff. And here's another thing too I've discovered too. Maybe it's because I'm an older man and I'm at that stage of my life where not only do I not give a crap, but I just I'm not that true meaning of not being a fear of death. I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't poke at my stomach at times, but I know what that is. It's not me. I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of what they'll do to me. I could care less. If I'm destined to be in a place for another, let's put it this way. What if I am destined to be stuck in the underworld or between the underworld and the middle world? Is this what I'm being revealed? What's being revealed to me? You know, it's like a point. Living in fear sucks. There's nothing worse than living in fear, honestly, to me at least. And the other thing is, I don't have any control much about my destiny. Maybe Raven will change that for me and others, but I don't see my control in this. I think I was destined to have film these things, have my interactions, have my encounters, and revealed this truth to me. I think it's the preparation for the next phase of wherever we're going. If that makes any sense. Does that make sense? Or the possibility of where we're going next. Or what's on the other side, at least. Maybe we have no idea where we're going next. I know a lot of people feel very confident, but I used to be very confident about it. I knew exactly what life was about. And the more I research and study and I pray, the more I realize I don't know jack squat. And because of that, I'm starting to have these things revealed to me. So thank you, Mike. Thank you for the 3 hours.
Thank you.
And I hope we do it again. Maybe
Yeah,
next
I'm sure we
month
will.
when we keep it going. Tell cameraman I said hi, Jack.
I will.
And oh dude, don't forgive me. The other dude. I never forget his
Trapper?
Trapper.
Yeah.
Tapper. That's a Freudian slip if there ever was one. So
You know, I'm going to the Hillview Manor on Friday. I'll let you know how that experience goes.
yeah.
A
Let
lot
me
of
know.
spirit activity. I want to see what it's like there.
You know, there's another thing to. Well, see, this weekend I have my son, so I can't really be involved. But if there's ever any chance you want to do like a show like this and go live and have me like kind of like the managing this side of things while you're doing your work, if that,
That could work.
we could pull that off.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I could like be managing the comments or any kind of images that need to be shared or whatever. You think about it, and who knows? Maybe it'll be a good thing. At least you won't be alone.
Yeah, that's
With,
true.
you know, I'll talk your ear off if you want.
That's one thing that's nice about going live when you're in places like that. It actually feels a little less by yourself.
So, a question to anyone is still left: this person, this entity, what is it? Who is it? Do you really know? Let's be honest about things, and let me know if you see what I see. And check out Mike's stuff if you are. I imagine everyone's following you. I think even
Yeah.
Sheldon's probably following you.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if Raven is yet, but Raven, follow Mike, and yeah, we're going in different directions. I think we're merging things together now in a little more disciplined way. We have new technology. It's amazing. In the past 6 years, how much technology has increased. Can you just imagine, unless the powers that be try to stop it, what it's going to be like in another decade? I think it's like what Diesel was saying. I think we'll get to the point that the cameras and everything will be, and the audio and everything will be in such an advanced level that we'll be filming these things. It will be nothing. I will be nothing but a fart in the wind that no one ever remembered. And some other dude is going to, or gal is going to take it over and say, hey, look. And then there will be nobody. And then the next, you know what I mean? We're just part of the journey, man. So, okay, with that, I'm going to end the recording. If you want to stick around, you can, Mike. If not, that's okay. I understand. I'm going to end the recording with some music. Try to get this done right the first time.
Good night to everyone.
Yes,
Good night.
please. Is there anything you want to let people know about in particular? So you got the thing going on this weekend. What else?
Oh, well, yeah, Hillview Manor. I'm going there Friday from 9 p.m. till midnight. And then I'm going to a place called the Buxton Inn, April 2nd. That's over in Granville, Ohio. That's like number 4 on America's top 50 haunted motels or hotels. A lot of history. So I'm going to spend the night there in their 2 hottest rooms, 2 hotspot rooms. So that's going to be coming up early April. So that's kind of like my 2 big moves coming up.
Right. Well, you take care of yourself, and let's talk soon. Our best wishes are with you.
Oh, thank you.
And I think you're going to go places. Just
Well,
if you keep a level head and don't get all. It's really easy to get all screwed up with this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I'm on my path the way I want to do it, and I'm just sticking with it. So if it's good that I'm meeting people, and it's good that there's so many people who are interested, and that's the reason why everything's growing with the channel for me. I'm glad everybody's interested in it, and that's what it was about. Even if I said if I
you get to be a big shot, don't forget about me, because I'm never going to be big. I'm going to tell you that. No, I'm not going to be big because of how I talk and what's going on, right? But just remember, they always come back here, right? Because you get the intel, to get the real stuff. You know what I mean? So, and share it. So, it's been great, dude.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Many blessings, brother, and everyone else. And here you.
You're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind.
Take me there. I won't break.